now call this meeting of the Kansas State University Student Governing Association Student Senate to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I want to begin our Student Senate meeting taking place on Thursday, March 7th, 2024 with a land acknowledgement. We recognize that Kansas State University, as the first land-grant institution, stands on the ancestral lands of the Kaw people. Our state of Kansas is home to 4 federally recognized Native nations: the Iowa, Kickapoo, Prairie Band Potawatomi, and Sac and Fox. We must remember that the land serving for the foundation for this institution was and still is stolen land acquired by white settlers. We pledge our commitment to creating decolonized spaces at the university while advocating for the support and future success of Indigenous faculty, staff, and students at K-State. Interim Secretary Cuesta will take it away with our first roll call.
Bellamy. Here. Biggs. Here. Blood. Broughton. Bruckner. Here. Koch.
Here.
Compton. Cup. Dennis. Here. Drotz. Here. Dunce.
Here.
Fogel. Here. Glasscock. Here. Griffith. Here. Haynes. Here. Heatherman. Here. Hesseltine. Here. Hoffmans. Hulsey. Hundley. Here. Jacobson. Kirshen.
Here.
Kidd.
Here.
Kermer.
Here.
Kenzie. Lee. Here. Lilly. Here. Long. Here. Lynn. Here. Mason. Here. Melcher.
Here.
Moore. O'Malley. Oury. Pelton. Peterson. Rios. Rivard. Rogers. Saya Carly. Saya Nick. Salmon. Shirky. Streetman. Strunk. Sushanik. West. Wingert. Wolf. Zatgo. And that's it.
Thanks, Carson. We'll now move into our first open period. First up, we have Maggie Billman. Please make sure to close your laptops and give our guests your full attention.
Good evening, Student Senate. My name is Maggie Billman, and I work in the Staley School of Leadership. I'm just here tonight to talk to you all about a couple of opportunities for engagement that I think might pique your interest. On this slide, you can also see my email address and like what I do over there if any of that is interesting to you, if you need to get a hold of me. So tonight, I want to talk to you a little bit about what I do and how you tie into that. And what I do is two-part. I support our Scholar Development and Undergraduate Research Unit Office, ? That used to be called the Office of the Office of Undergraduate Research and Creative Inquiry, or OURC, but we are now Scholar Development and Undergraduate Research, or ESTER. And I'll talk about some opportunities for you to engage with ESTER. I also provide project management to the Applied Learning Imperative as part of the university strategic plan, and I want to also talk to you about how you can get involved with that. Thanks so much. All right, so kicking it off well with ESTER. that's really just a placeholder slide. I'm sorry to tease you there. So Esther is housed within the Staley School of Leadership, and this is kind of our mission statement up there, so I'll just read it out loud so you get a general vibe of what we do over there. The Scholar Development and Undergraduate Research Team connects undergraduate students with opportunities for research, professional development, graduate school preparation, and educational funding sources. So how do we do that? And that takes place on our next slide. Appreciate it so much. So we have 3 major programs with which we do what we say we want to do. And then we have a couple of other tossed in little opportunities that I'll get to in the next slide, but let's take a sec to chat about these 3 programs. The first is the McNair Scholars Program. The second is the Developing Scholars Program. And these 2 are programs related solely within undergraduate research. So McNair and DSP differ just a little bit in what the eligibility requirement is, but essentially both of those programs provide funding for undergraduate students to complete research. DSP tries to get at earlier career students who are first gen and or who hold historically underrepresented identities. It provides $2,500 a year to do so. The McNair Scholars Program is a summer research opportunity for undergraduate students, and that can be for older students. It's 2 years. And then nationally competitive scholarships. So if you've heard of scholarships like the Rhodes, the Marshall, the Fulbright, that kind of stuff, this is the office that'll get you hooked up with that. We actually have an application coming open April 2nd, and I left my notes in my office, and I don't work with nationally competitive scholarships very much, so I don't know which one that is, but I guess that's just a teaser to go check out our website and see which one it is that's gonna come open. Okay, next are just the little tidbits of stuff that we do, and those are, we host symposia, we provide grants, and we provide mentored research. I'm not gonna get too much into this because I will do that in the next slide. So this is your opportunity to engage with Esther, opportunity number 1. On April 11th from 4 to 6 p.m., we'll be hosting an undergraduate research symposium. And what a research symposium is basically just a big event with lots of posters that students present their work in. So you have the opportunity to walk around and see what's up and see what people are up to. I also would encourage you that if you have completed undergraduate research to sign up for this event. It's free to register. You just have to provide your own poster. We're going to have snacks as well, so there's a perk. Yeah, and then if you don't want to apply to present at the event, I totally encourage you to walk around and see some really exciting research that's going on. It really blows me away every time I get to interact with a student who's doing research to see the fabulous stuff that they're finding out. The second opportunity to engage with Esther is just to check out our online presence. We have tons of opportunities going on at all different times of the year. So I encourage you just to take a look around our website, to follow us on Instagram, or to email us if you are interested in doing undergraduate research or applying for some nationally competitive scholarships, but you just don't really know where to get started. Okay, the second part of my job, working with the applied learning imperative. So this is a pretty separate thing from Esther. So I really wear 2 hats, so I'm turning my hat around right now. So as you know, or you may know, I hope you know, in September-ish, President Linton launched the Next Gen K-State Strategic Plan. This plan is made up of 10 key imperatives, and the topics in that touch on like expanding research expenditures, making K-State an employer of choice, boosting our enrollment to 30,000 learners, XYZ. Imperative number 3 of that is what we call the applied learning imperative. This has a lot of direct impact by you for you, on you, with you, because it says that we will provide every degree-seeking student with an applied learning experience before they graduate, fulfilling our commitment to prepare students for life beyond K-State, starting earlier in their college experience. So, what is applied learning? So this is our lengthy definition that we've proposed so far. I'll let you take a look at that. But really what applied learning is taking classroom learning that you've done, and it is applying it to a real world situation. We've identified 4 key areas to begin tracking and recognizing these experiences that are taking place, as well as to invest strategically to expand upon these opportunities. And those 4 opportunities are education abroad, internships, service learning, and undergraduate research. So what you're seeing in italics on the screen behind me is our overall applied learning definition. And each of these 4 key areas has a proposed definition as well. And why this matters to you is that by 2030, you will have completed one of these experiences. Every degree-seeking student will, so that means PhD students, master's students, folks who are seeking a degree from K-State. The opportunity to engage here. These definitions that I touched on that we proposed are available in a survey for your feedback. So I encourage you all to check out the K-State Today that Dean Mary Toller of the Staley School put out. I have a sheet that I'm going to pass out in a sec that has QR codes to all this stuff that I'm talking to you about. But I encourage you to take a look at this survey, to study these definitions, to say, I don't really know that that's what I think undergraduate research is, or wow, I really resonate with that definition of what an internship is, and that's something that I feel I can connect to as a student. I encourage you to do this because this is what I hope the future of K-State looks like. I hope that it's quality educational experiences for all students. That's why we're here. That's why you become a student, is to learn. And this is a really exciting and innovative move that higher education is taking, and that I'm really excited that K-State's jumping onto the bandwagon of. A lot of places call it experiential learning, but it's a really big move in higher education. So if you want to have a say in what becomes required of your future peers, you should fill out this survey. Another opportunity to engage with applied learning. Like I said, we know that these experiences are happening. We know that there are internships available. We know that there are education abroad experiences available. We know that there's undergraduate research that's going on, XYZ, down the list. We struggle to track these experiences that happen, and we know that the fantastic faculty who facilitate these experiences are often grossly under-resourced. So our job as an imperative, as a team, is to go and understand what's going on campus, to collect stories from faculty and administrators, and to hear, what do you all need? What can we advocate for throughout this strategic planning process, and how can we assist you in making these opportunities the very best that we can be? And we want to involve students from the beginning. So we've only really been at this for a few months, and so there's some really unique opportunities for students really in the beginning of this process. We're hiring a couple of interns to help out with this interview process. So what this intern or these interns will be doing, we'll be going around and conducting appreciative inquiry interviews with faculty members to say, hey, tell me about this course you teach, tell me about what you need, tell me about something you're proud of. And then you're going to report that information back to us, and that's going to help how we inform really large-scale strategic decisions that are made. So as a student, you have a really cool opportunity to get paid to advocate for your fellow students. So apply for that job if that's interesting to you. So those are the opportunities that I wanted to talk to you about. And just wanted to say a quick word of thanks as well. And I'm going to actually take this and I'm going to go on the road here, and I'm going to pass around this really ugly sheet that I made for you all. But yeah, I just want to say thanks to you all for your time. I know that this is your last meeting of the year, and so congratulations for the work that you've done. Thanks for the work that you've done, and I encourage you to finish strong. I hear whispers that tonight might be a long meeting, so I encourage you to treat each other with kindness and to act in the best interest of all students. So let me just kind of explain also what this is. The first row here are QR codes to the Esther website. The second are QR codes to the applied learning stuff that I chatted about, and just ways to engage with what we've got going on. I'm running out of these, so if you have extras in your row, pass them on. Yeah, I just encourage you to check out these QR codes and these opportunities that are available to you, and I will now take any questions you have.
Thanks so much, Maggie. Are there questions for the speaker? Yes. Technically. Would someone like to? Yes, Senator Lilly, you can.
Do you mean? Yeah, so for like undergraduate research opportunities? So when a student comes to us and let's say Hannah came to me and Hannah said, Maggie, I really want to do research in biochemistry. We would go find you a faculty member in biochemistry that's interested in mentoring you. In some of our programs, so like in the McNair Scholars Program, students are required to come into the program with an identified couple of mentors that they want to work with. So the student does have a lot of agency in saying like, yeah, this is a mentor I want to work with, or I'm not so sure I would be comfortable working with this person. I will also say that oftentimes faculty aren't paid as well as we would hope that they would be, and this is often an unpaid experience for them. So it can be difficult to get faculty mentors. So we don't have like an ongoing pool of people, but we do have a faithful handful of people who love working with students and who really enjoy that. That kind of danced around your question, but it really does depend experience by experience. We're looking to, in the future, set up a kind of pool of opportunities of faculty that have projects for students to work on that students can apply to themselves.
Coordinator Navarro.
Glad to be back.
Using third-party systems as they have been doing in the past?
That's a really good question and not one that I'm sure I have the full perspective to answer in full, so I'll try my best. So on our applied learning core team, just kind of how it's set up, we have a core group of like a couple of administrators that work on that, and then we have a representative from Ed Abroad, from undergrad research, from the Career Center, so internships, and then service learning. We're looking to get some grant projects up and going. You can read that, like kind of our next steps on the website. We know that faculty-led programs are often a great way for people who might not have the confidence to go abroad independently to get involved. And we also know that we have a lot more control over the learning outcomes that those students have, and we can ensure that that's a quality learning opportunity. I also think that if it's going to be through faculty-led programs or through independent systems, like, you know, you just say that you want to do an exchange program wherever, we know that cost is a huge barrier to students going abroad. I didn't go abroad when I was a student because I didn't have the cash for it. So what we are looking to expand as well are just cost, answers to that cost barrier. So learning how to advocate for pools of money to have students that like to come to and apply for. I don't know if that really answered your question. If you want more information, I can try. Okay, thanks.
Senator Glasscock.
Does it seem like in applied learning experiences that there is enough student interest in those, or is it kind of a lack of student interest in a variety of experiences, or a lack of experiences in a variety of interests?
Good question. Are you asking like why it is going to be like a requirement?
Or, I suppose.
Or, I mean, it's not a requirement right now. It's going to be an offering. Eventually, it'll be like 10 years down the road, it'll be a requirement. But anyway.
A little bit, yeah. Kind of, what is the like focus that you have? Is it kind of boosting that engagement or boosting the opportunities?
I think it's both. I think that the main focus behind institutionalizing something like this is that students are doing these things, but things like reflection aren't built into that process. So you might go and do an internship, and then you're never asked to reflect on the learning that you had, and you're never taught how to talk about that experience in a job interview. You're not taught how to add that to a resume or a CV. So it's twofold. It's expanding those opportunities so that they're more accessible and so that they're higher quality. And it's also saying, hey, Joe student, this is something that's happening, and you should know what you're learning and why you're learning it, and where that puts you in the world after you have this experience. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
Senator Lilly.
I move to extend the speaker's time by 2 minutes is the max? 4.
4.
4 minutes. Second.
Are there further questions?
So this, let's say I have a research project and I want to show it in symposium and get you guys' support. What kind of review and vetting process do I need to go through to get that support?
So it's a very limited review and vetting process. It's really just a registration. So the QR code that leads to the, like you're filling it out or whatever, it basically asks you to submit your name, your research mentor's name, your 150-word abstract, and then like that you're willing to show up with a poster. So we are going to go through those and make sure that like the people who are applying are a human person with a pulse that like isn't going to show up with some random stuff that's inappropriate to have at an event like that. I'm not also saying that we're going to censor, but we're going to make sure that they're legit, and there's a committee of people together to do that.
Further questions for the speaker?
Cool. Thank you all for your time.
If anyone is interested in learning more information or asking any questions, I have business cards and flyers up here. Okay, are there any further first open period speakers? Senator Shirkey?
Slideshow I sent to the parliamentarian, total of 2 slides.
Yes, Chair Blood.
First open period speakers, if I remember correctly, cannot have speaking rights. Reserved for second open period.
Okay. So I know what it is. Go ahead and just send it out in an email before you go in debate.
Oh, you just can't.
No. Apparently you are not allowed to speak during first open period if you are a senator.
Okay.
Because only senators are allowed to speak during second open period. People with speaking rights. Are there further first open period speakers? Okay, seeing none, we're going to move on to approval of the minutes. The minutes were distributed yesterday, along with the agenda and legislation tracking information. Is there a motion to approve the minutes, Senator Griffith?
I have corrections for the minutes.
Okay.
Only one I found at the very end. It says adjourned at 12:11 p.m. We were not, in fact, adjourned at noon. We were adjourned at 12:11 a.m. on the 1st of March.
Will you get that? Thank you. Any further corrections for the minutes? Seeing none, is there a motion? Senator Zacko.
I move to approve the minutes unanimously. Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Those will stand approved as amended. Next up, announcements. We do not have very many this week because we don't have anything about the proxy form or the Zoom form because this is our last Senate. First, Senate Executive Committee applications are open. They will close March 29th, followed by interviews by your new speaker and pro tempore. The link is there. President-elect Volgamore also asked me to mention the Chief of Staff application is also now open. You can find that in your email that was sent out to the listserv earlier today. 2, if you want to give props to someone in Student Senate, fill out the shout-out form, and Interim Secretary Cuesta will read them at the end of our meeting. 3, the SGA Member of the Week is Alexa Hesseltine. Alexa has gone above and beyond in her role as a senator this week, made sure that all of the new senators felt welcome at our training. We are incredibly grateful for her hard work and dedication. Thanks, Alexa. And the quote of the week is, I learned 2 things. 1, you really need to listen and understand why people believe what they believe, where they're coming from. And when you do that, sometimes you'll find common ground. Jennifer McClellan. Okay, next up we have commendations. First up we have Resolution 232472. Is there a motion? Senator Griffith.
I move to consider Resolution 72.
Second objection.
So it has been moved, seconded, and objected to consider the Resolution 72. We will go into a hand vote. All those in favor of consideration, please raise your placard now. All opposed, same sign. That does have majority. Will the author please come forward?
Resolution 23-2472, commendation to the Going to a Super Bowl fantasy football team. Authors Carson S. Cuesta, sponsors Anna Koch and Gavin Strunk. Whereas during the National Football League NFL regular season, members of Kansas State University Student Governing Association, KSU SGA, formed an NFL fantasy football league entitled, I believe it's just like Student Senate Football League. That's a typo. Whereas 10 members of KSU SGA participated in the league, whereas the team with the most points for, or PFF, was the team going to a Super Bowl, coached by incoming Attorney General and current Emerging Leaders Coordinator Andrew Navarro. Whereas going to a Super Bowl scored 1,675.10 PF, whereas the team with the least PF was Team Cuesta, coached by Student Allocations Committee Chair Carson S. Cuesta, whereas Team Cuesta only scored 1,180.55 PF, whereas the difference in points between the winning team and losing team is 494.55 PF, and whereas it was a victorious win for Coach Navarro and an embarrassing defeat for Coach Cuesta, be it resolved that Section 1, the Kansas State University Student Governing Association, KSU SGA, congratulates Andrew Navarro on winning the inaugural KSU SGA Fantasy Football League. Section 2, upon passage by the Student Senate and signature of the Student Body President, a copy of this resolution shall be sent to the participants of the league, incoming Attorney General and Emerging Leaders Coordinator Andrew Navarro, Senator Jamie Fogle, Senator Drew Bellamy, Senator Anna Koch, Senator and Vice President-elect Jack O'Malley, Caucus Leader Marcus Kidd, Emerging Leaders Coordinator Jacob Hoffman, Senator Gavin Strunk, Senator Brandon Kermer, and Student Allocations Committee Chair Carson S. Cuesta.
Are there questions or corrections for the author? Senator Bellamy.
So the list of names is in order of who won the most. So Senator Bellamy won third most, which was respectable in its own right. Would you agree?
I would agree.
Further questions or corrections? Senator Mason.
Can I ask what PF stands for?
Points for, so anytime that your team did a good thing.
Senator Griffith.
So, do you happen to know how this Coach Cuesta ended up doing so badly?
I do. So, mostly it was injuries. So half of my team was gone halfway through the season. So very tragic.
Senator Fogle.
I have a question for the author. Senator Fogle's team had Joe Burrow as their quarterback, who went down in week 3, and he still managed to get third place. How is that possible that you also had injuries?
I had more injuries.
Further questions or corrections for the author? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve? Senator Griffith.
I move to approve Resolution 72. Second.
Okay, we will go into a hand vote on Resolution 72. All those in favor, please raise your placards now. All opposed, same sign. It will stand approved. Next up, we have Resolution 232473. Is there a motion? Senator Heatherman.
I move to suspend the rules to reopen open period and allow Senator Shirkey to present.
Second.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded. Suspending the rules is not a debatable motion. Okay, so all of those in favor of suspending the rules to reopen first period and allow Senator Shirkey to speak, please raise your placards now. Proxies raised 2. All opposed, same sign. I don't think it has 2/3.
I call for a division of the assembly.
Okay. All of those in favor, please raise your placards now. Proxies raise 2. Yeah, that still fails. Okay, we will go back into, I am looking for a motion to consider Resolution 73. Chair Long.
I move to consider Resolution 73.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Will the author please come forward?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Okay, Resolution 73. Authors, Isaac Winter. Sponsors, Matthew Melcher, Caleb Stout, Paige Volgamore, Jack O'Malley, Brady Kaplan. Whereas Kansas State University and the Kansas State University Student Governing Association has a rich agricultural heritage, serving the people of Kansas through its commitment as the nation's first operational land-grant university. Whereas the Kansas State Department of Agriculture recognizes an estimated $14.8 billion and 67,000 jobs stemming directly and indirectly from the ancient tallgrass prairie system we now call the Flint Hills. Whereas cowboys and cowgirls are vital for the nurturing of beef cattle, other livestock, and wildlife utilizing this land, requiring fine horsemanship, extensive knowledge of flora and fauna, and a high degree of practice and skill within their craft. Whereas the Kansas State University rodeo team, representing the Kansas State University College of Agriculture, provides a high level of education as well as an avenue for these dedicated individuals to practice and demonstrate their craft through the sport of rodeo. Whereas the 67th annual K-State Rodeo brought an estimated 12,000 rodeo fans to Kansas State University over the span of 4 days, marking the event as the largest student-sponsored event on campus. And whereas this was the final year that Kansas State University rodeo team would be able to host performances in the historic Weber Arena, marking 77 years as a club and 52 years of rodeo attendance in that building by the people of Kansas and beyond. Be it resolved that the Kansas State University Student Governing Association commends and gives a tip of the hat to the Kansas State University rodeo team, including Coach Casey Wynn, the dedicated student members, and numerous sponsors for the honor and good name that their hard work provided to the university through this final performance. Section 2, upon passage by the Student Senate and the signature of the Student Body President, a copy of this resolution shall be sent to the Kansas State University rodeo team, Coach Casey Wynn, Animal Sciences and Industry Department Head, Dr. Mike Day, Dean of the College of Agriculture, Dr. Ernie Minton, Interim Provost and Executive Vice President, Dr. Debbie Mercer, Senior Vice President and Chief of Staff, Dr. Marshall Stewart, and University President, Dr. Richard Gatlin.
Are there questions or corrections for the author? Senator Griffith.
The title of the bill should be in all caps. Resolution.
There's a number of
Are there corrections of substance? We can do grammatical errors that are not of substance before we sign it. Further questions or corrections for the author? Senator Griffith.
How come the rodeo club has left Weber Arena?
Weber Arena is being demolished to be replaced by the new agriculture expansion that Dr. Minton is sponsoring. And Dr. Linton has done a lot of work to promote.
Senator Sayo.
Do you know when the new facility is supposed to be open?
I believe it's in a couple of years, maybe 5 years down the road, but should be pretty quick.
Coordinator Hoffman.
Where before the next arena is open, where are you going to be?
I honestly don't know where they will do their performances. I imagine maybe out at the Riley County Fairgrounds, potentially elsewhere. So, yeah, President Stout affirms that. So.
Further questions or corrections for the author? Seeing none, do I have a motion? Senator Lilly.
I move to approve Resolution 73 unanimously.
It has been moved and seconded. It will stand approved. We will now move into committee reports. Are there any committee chairs that would like to give a report tonight? Chair Blood.
Main thing the Senate Operations Committee did this week was the certification of elections. One thing that's a little bit different than in the past is that if there were ties and people didn't accept the seat, I didn't just list all of the ties until someone were to accept those seats, as well as the Senate Operations Committee did, and I don't know if this was announced last week, but a week and a half ago did break a tie in the results of the election of student senator for the College of Arts and Sciences. So when that resolution comes up, and we'll have to special order it today, those are kind of the main things that we've done over the past 2 weeks, as well as all of the reference of legislation from this past week as well. And the side note as well, the GovDocs committee has concluded all of their meetings, as is evident by the legislation that was submitted last week.
Are there any questions for Chair Blood? Thank you. Are there further committee chairs that would like to give a report tonight? Chair Long.
I thought we'd give some context on the email sent out to you here a minute ago, so I'll let Phil take it away.
Thank you, Chair Long. So the email that, or do you want to?
Jeremy, you want to pull up that?
It's the same thing you're going to see in the email. 2 slides about upcoming Resolution 68. So this is an allocation to Cats Cupboard. This goes through SSF, and that's the Chair Long's been doing some good work trying to get some compromises on that legislation to get it through. Now, the first thing you're seeing here is the budgetary plan of Cats Cupboard. So that full pie is the full circle. They have a projected budget of $553,000, and that whole circle is $553,000 round. The color coding represents different uses of the funding. So the green stuff is for money that can be used on food. The light blue is stuff that can be used for anything. Purple is office supplies only, stuff like that. You'll notice this giant red slice on one of them. So the one on the left is if we allocate $95,000 to Cats Cupboard in fiscal year 25. That red thing there, what's up?
For those confused, we raised it to 95 from 75 during committee on Monday.
Yeah. Otherwise, that red slice will be a lot bigger. So that red slice right there is the budgetary shortage that Cats Cupboard is going to have in fiscal year 25. If we give them $95,000, there is an amendment that will be proposed that will raise the number to $150,000. You'll see on the right that little tiny red line up there. That's $3,000. For an organization as large as this, a shortage easy to correct. You can only get rid of that large red slice if you vote for the amendment for $150,000. Next slide, please, parliamentarian. Another nice color code. So this is the rows represent the budget that actually ends up happening. So the top one is that $553,000. The bottom one is an extrapolation based on monthly costs. We were given monthly costs of $75,000. That was multiplied by 9 to reflect the fact that some months are going to be less busy. They're going to have reduced operations in summer, stuff like that. The more scary looking the color is, so like red and orange, the quicker Cats Cupboard runs out of money, right? Only a green square indicates funding functioning for the entire fiscal year. You'll notice that the only way that we can keep them in the green for fiscal year 25 is through a $150,000 allocation. The details of like how those months are there is what the text is for. So take this under consideration. When this funding is underway, you'll have the choice whether or not to fund Cats Cupboard, and if so, to what degree. Thank you very much, Chair Long, for letting me up here.
Oh, do you stand for questions?
I
I suppose I must.
Holding for questions.
Chair Broughton.
Why is there a 3-month reduction from fiscal year 25 to fiscal year 26 for low costs versus a 1-month reduction at 95K? I guess I'm just understanding like the disproportionate.
Yeah. Let me, exactly which rows to columns are you referring?
So the first row.
Oh, you're referring to the fact that between the years, the difference is 1 month. Between the columns, it's 1 month. Between the row, it's 3. Is that the problem? You're thinking like 9 to 8 versus 9 to 6, for example. Is that what your question's about?
Mine is just 9 to 8 versus 12 to 9. So there's a 1 month decrease from fiscal year 25 to fiscal year 26.
Yeah. So I have the actual full Excel spreadsheet right here, so I can look that up. What I see, oh yes, so the problem here is that right now, Cat's Cupboard has $100,000 sitting in reserve, okay? So that $100,000 can only be used in fiscal year 25. There is some other funding that comes online though. Sorry, may I continue? Okay, so the difference in years is because there's a temporary pool of money that is $100,000 that is just barely, that they're going to have to burn through in fiscal year 25, right? That is going to be, depending on how much funding we give them now, either it's going to be entirely run through or it's not. They're going to have some stuff left, but yeah, the fiscal year 26, in all likelihood, they'll probably be requesting even more than they are now. So,
Senator Lilly.
Are you projecting us giving them any money in fiscal year 26 in this model?
I don't believe I can opine on what the next Senate's going to do. I certainly hope we give them at least the amount we give them in fiscal year 25. Wait, oh, did you mean, in this model it assumes the same amount?
So, follow.
Granted.
So you're assuming that they'll have a 30% increase in expenses over the next year?
Yeah, I want to make sure that, so from the low to high?
No, from 12 months to 9 months, that's a 30% increase in expenses.
It's a 30%, it's a reduction in the amount of money they have because they burn a reserve that does not replenish. So the money we give them replenishes the money that Chair Long points out in the actual resolution, which is like, I think like 200,000 for 1 year, 150,000 for another. To my knowledge, that also replenishes, but not the money that's going to be burned in 25.
They've got $100K sitting remaining from their donation to buy the building that they're using as a reserve. That's not replenishing in any way.
Senator Saya.
Did Cat's Cupboard provide their own projections on that amount of money and how it would impact them operationally?
Yes, actually. I have their entire thing copied here. So they're asking for 150. And actually, so I'm looking at my data input on the spreadsheet to go to the guy whose placard I don't see, who asked me the question about the 9 months. That is an error. I see now that there is an error on my spreadsheet. I did not include a lease payment that would have become available in 2026. I suspect that number becomes something like 10 or 11 months with the extra $50,000 payment available in 2026. My apologies to the body for making that error. I'm sorry, would you repeat your last question that's currently pending?
Did Cat's Cupboard give you information on what this 150 would do?
Yeah, so they gave it to the whole SSF committee, and what they said is this $150,000 is food inventory, and only food inventory. That's why when you look at the previous slide with the pie graphs, you'll see the green line gets bigger if we do the 150. The reason being that the existing sources of funding, $110,000 already guaranteed, $40,000 additionally already guaranteed, $50,000 starting in 26 also guaranteed. None of that is actually used for food. That is used for office supplies, that is used for student wages, and that is used for lease payments. But none of that's actually used for food, so right now they're dependent on what we give them, whatever the foundation will match, and their reserve of $100,000.
Chair Broughton.
Yeah, can you go back to the first slide, Jeremy?
There's a grant for 110 there as well. So
Yeah.
those are kind of less than half a million-ish.
Yeah. So we're hoping they can access reserves if they need to maintain operations. But as you can see with the right graph, they won't need to access additional reserves. What's your question?
Yeah, so that any use is actually going to like lease payments?
So actually no, because this is fiscal year 20, well, yes, some of the any use probably will. I didn't include a separate color for lease. I originally had a little yellow slice, but that only matters in fiscal year 26. This is divided by what the money they have can be used for, not what they will actually spend it on. This is what the conditions of the money come with, right? So the blue is unconditioned, which means if they want to pay their lease, they're going to use the blue money. The green is conditioned food only, and so presumably they're going to spend that money on food before dipping into the blue any use pool.
Senator Lilly.
Do you have any insight on the purple slices, office supplies?
Yeah.
Do you have any insight as to why they're spending $100,000 a year on office supplies?
I know that that's something they already have. That's funding they already have. So presumably they convinced somebody that they need $110,000 worth of office supplies.
I'll tack onto that one. That's mostly from Lafine and the services being utilized to help support Cats Covered. That is not $110,000 of paper clips. That is parts of people's salaries that go to support Cats Covered. So proportionally,
director salary, stuff like that.
Don't think of that as office supplies. Think of that as support.
Chair Broughton.
Yeah, just for a quick clarification, can that any use money go to food, or is it not able to go to food?
So that any use money is some of that's from the foundation and some of that's from the reserve. Now, I don't know what conditions the foundation will attach to their match for food, and I didn't want to their match for our money, so I'm not going to assume that they attach conditions they will not. For that reason, I classified the foundation match, which is a slice that is in the blue, but it is as large as the green slice is. I classified that as any use simply because the restrictions are not currently known to me.
To my knowledge, it can be used for anything.
Same with the reserve, right, that they already have, or is that only for?
Yeah. The only restriction I know is the gear grant, which has to be used for food, I believe.
Senator Griffith.
Jeremy, could you go back to the second slide?
Thank you, Parliamentarian King.
So in the section where it says that it plans to operate until failure, and it says at the high rate of expenditure, where it says that one of the options is to shut down this fall, does that mean that all of Cats Covered will just?
Yeah, so
it will close
theoretically, yes. I mean, this is the real world, and I know that Cats Covered will make very hard decisions, and they will stay open. They will do whatever they can to remain in operations, right? I don't expect them to actually permanently shut the doors of that brand new building they just finished because this bill does not go through. What I expect is a drastic reduction in the quality of services they can provide to students and a reduction in the amount of food supplies that they can offer to food insecure students. That shutdown, that budgetary failure is a mathematical figment. What happens in reality will be far more tragic, but also far more drawn out.
Senator Griffith.
At the low rate of expenditure, when it says to considerably reduce operations pending SGA allocation, that presumably, does that mean that it can operate until the spring semester?
Yeah, so you'll notice that's based on the color code. So you'll see that in fiscal year 26, even if we give them that same amount again, they will close down in 11 months. That 9 in the top right, that is an error. It should be 11. But I put that in because in the resolution text it says we'll consider another one-time allocation in fiscal year 26. We might consider it and vote it down, in which case they're screwed. We might consider it and raise it, in which case they'll probably be able to make it through fiscal year 26 as well with no additions. Does it say that? It says we should reconsider in the next, or it says there's insufficient data to
consider for a budget student services fee.
Yeah. And so if that goes through and it's the same mathematical amount from this, then you get to see the graph. We don't know what fiscal year 26 will bring.
Yeah, the legislation I think you're referring to is that we are suggesting they be reviewed for a budget for FY26. If the Senate decides not to do that, they'd have problems.
Further questions? Seeing none, thank you.
Thanks, Joe Long, you're the best.
Are there further committee chairs that would like to give a report tonight? Chair Lynn.
Can you zoom out so we can see the whole thing?
So what Jeremy is pulling up on the screen right now is the budget from this year's DPF allocations. So as part of my role as DEI chair, I'm supposed to give reports to Senate on spending at least twice a semester. So this is my final one for this semester. Just as an overview of what the committee spent and which clubs it went to. So we had about originally $137,000 in our budget. We ran out of that budget about a month ago, and then you saw that bill in Senate to take from the reserves. Out of the reserves, we pulled $50,000. We ended up spending just about $40,000 for a total of $177,000 and some change that the committee spent this year for those clubs. So I just wanted to make sure that you all got that information. I believe it was 23 or 24 allocations that we made this year. We had 31 requests, 31 requests being the largest number of requests that we've had at least since I've been here. So I was pretty proud that the committee was able to get the word out as much as they were so that we could fund student organizations. So that's all I wanted to share with everyone here. So if you have any questions about the committee or the budget for this year, let me know.
Are there questions for Chair Lynn? Coordinator Navarro.
Hi, Chair Lynn. I was wondering, because we had to take out of our reserves the 50K, do you foresee DEIB needing to increase their budget when the next review happens?
Yeah, so part of my recommendation leaving this role is going to be providing these numbers in our transition documents and saying that obviously this is something that is getting utilized, and recommend that it at least gets raised back up to the amount that it was before it was cut last year.
Further questions for Chair Lynn? Seeing none, thank you. Are there further committee chairs that would like to give a report tonight? Seeing none, are there any directors that would like to give a report tonight? Deputy Attorney General Chapman.
Hi, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Elizabeth Chapman, and I'm the current Deputy Attorney General for the K-State Judicial Branch. And I'm legislated to give a State of Judicial report by the first Senate meeting in March. So this is this report. There should be a slide before that. Cool. Okay. So this is just our general structure, just in case you're unfamiliar with how our branch kind of operates. So we have the Attorney General, just Ms. Polson, and then myself, Deputy AG. Then we have our two boards, the Student Review Board and Tribunal. Student Review Board is led by Chairperson Natalie Noose, and our Tribunal is led by Chancellor Jack Jennings. And then we also have our wonderful judicial advisors, Andy Thompson and Allie Coleman, and we meet with them on a weekly basis to discuss cases and other happenings in our branch. So what I really wanted to do for this part of this report is to kind of send out a demographic survey to our members and just kind of see how our branch is represented. And so the 4 questions that I asked were gender, ethnicity, what colleges people were a part of, and then how they got involved in the branch, because I just thought this would be good informational data for our branch, but then also maybe could inspire others. So yes, as you can see, this is kind of the makeup for gender and ethnicity. And then if you scroll to the next page, how our colleges are represented, and then sorry, the entrance of the judicial branch is kind of small, but that big chunk is just by previous connections. So having connections with people already in the branch has seemed to be one of the strongest ways that we have recruited. I will give a disclaimer too that 14 out of our 19 members responded to this survey, so it's not encapsulating of all of our members, but I also didn't force them to complete it. So. Okay, so I kind of mentioned we have 2 boards, Student Review Board and Student Tribunal. The Review Board hears cases involving alleged or potential violations of the Student Code of Conduct. This board is currently composed of 8 members, and then we have our Student Tribunal, which deals with internal appealings, or internal SGA governing documents, and then also with judicial ruling appealings. This is also currently composed of 8 members, and this is the first time we've had a full branch since I've been a part of the judicial branch, which has been the past 3 years. So Attorney General Polson and I are very happy with that and are excited to see what happens in the future with recruitment. Then I wanted to just give a little bit of overview of the cases we've heard this school year. So for our conduct cases, we heard 20 in the fall of 2023, and then 7 this semester, spring 2024. And then with our tribunal hearings in the fall of 2023, we heard 2 interpretation hearings, and then in the spring of 2024, we heard 1 appeal hearing of the election board decision. And then I also just wanted to say that we are currently recruiting for new judicial members. If you have anyone that you think might be interested in this, I can send that your way, or also incoming Attorney General Navarro can also send you this information. But the application opened actually on Monday, and it's due March 31st, and then we'll have leadership and general interviews April 4th. And then if you have any questions or concerns at any time, I really encourage you to reach out to Attorney General Polson, myself, or incoming Attorney General Navarro. We also are located in Office 113 in the SPY office, and so we'd love if you had any concerns to come talk to us there. And that is all.
Questions for Deputy Attorney General Chapman? Seeing none, thank you. Are there further directors that would like to give a report tonight? Vice President Binkley.
Hi, everyone. Just a quick little update on the Pause Day, also known as Mental Health Day legislation that we passed earlier this semester. So that reached the University Calendar Committee, which is a committee that both Caleb and I sit on. It was strongly favored by President Linton and Debbie Mercer, which is what initially brought it to the committee. So we are putting a recommendation forward, which means that it will go to the Faculty Senate Academic Affairs Committee, which is also a committee that I sit on. So we will vote on it there, and then past that, it'll go to Faculty Senate, and then kind of take course through KBOR after that. The recommendation put forward will be to have a pause day on Friday, October 4th as option 1. For the 2024 year, that is the 7th week of classes. Option 2 we are providing is Friday, October 11th, which is the 8th week of classes. So big win for SGA. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Caucus Leader Kit.
Yeah, so thanks for presenting this to us. So I remember like months ago when we first brought this up, I asked the question over like contact hours and KBOR requirements. I forgot what you said, but how does all that play a factor into this now?
So we have 1 extra day. So this would be taking up that extra day. It basically, right now as it stands, if we have a snow day, the first snow day we don't have to hold contact hours, which means professors and things can't give work, essentially. In this situation with the pause day, that would be taking up that snow day spot, so professors would be able to give like virtual work and things like that, to my understanding.
Thank you.
Senator Heatherman.
There's previously been calendar committee recommendations to incorporate these days. What has faculty senate response been like so far, and how you anticipate that conversation will go?
Yeah, so the only input that we've had is the faculty senate rep that sits on university calendar committee, and they have said that they can't support it at this time without talking to faculty senate. So that's really all that we know. I imagine there will be a fair amount of pushback. Yeah, I'll stop there.
Further questions? Thank you. Are there further directors that would like to give a report tonight? Okay, I'm going to use this director's report to alert the body of vetoes. These are our first vetoes of the term, so I am going to take a second to explain a little bit how the process works. When we pass a piece of legislation, it is given to the speaker and to the president to sign. Then the president has 8 days to either sign it or veto it and deliver it to the speaker of the student senate. I am then required to present it to you all at the next Senate meeting, which is this one, and then we have 8 days to do something about it. So if we want to motion to reconsider, that would be the way to overturn a veto, and that motion would be in order after the veto is presented. Are there questions before I read the veto? Caucus Leader Kidd.
So, sorry, so just mapping out the process, you're gonna read us why it was vetoed, and then can we ask questions, can we ask other questions prior to a potential motion to reconsider, or?
So I'm not sure how many I will be qualified to answer, in that I was not the one that vetoed the bills, but what I'll do is I will let you know which bills were vetoed. There are 2 of them, I'm gonna do them separately. And read out the list of objections to the piece of legislation that were submitted to me. So when the president vetoes a bill, they have to provide a list of objections, which is what I'm going to read. Are there further questions before I read the first one? Awesome. The first one is on Resolution 232464. This was the recommendation or request of K-State Athletics regarding men's basketball. President Stout says, "Dear members of KSU SGA Student Senate, I am disappointed to see Resolution 232464, request of K-State Athletics regarding men's basketball, on my desk awaiting final approval. While substantially better than the original version, my core objections remain the same. K-State Athletics was not contacted with any feedback/complaints or approached by any member of KSU SGA prior to the creation and passing of Resolution 232464. KSU SGA's athletics director was not contacted with any feedback, complaints, or approached by any member of KSU SGA prior to the creation and passing of Resolution 232464. In the week that followed the passing of Resolution 232464, no member of KSU SGA contacted K-State Athletics or KSU SGA's athletics director, indicating a lack of commitment to substantive change. The element of surprise is not a beneficial tool for SGA and ultimately results in eroded respect for our organization at large and our ability to engage in professional, productive conversation regarding ideas and concerns. In summary, due to the lack of proper consultation and communication, this resolution fails to uphold the principles of cooperation and shared governance necessary for effective progress to be made. I encourage you all to reconsider Resolution 23-2464, and instead let us prioritize open dialogue and ensure our actions reflect the values of transparency, respect, and effective partnership with all university stakeholders. That is the veto. Are there further questions on the process? Okay. Senator Mason.
So if we're going to reconsider a bill, do we do it now or do we do it sometime else?
You have the motion to reconsider is in order now during the director's report or during final action. So the body would have the ability to make the motion to reconsider either during the director's report or during final action. Are there further questions? Okay, I will move on to the second veto. If there are no motions, the second one is regarding Bill 232481 to the Student Senate of Kansas State University Student Governing Association. I am returning herewith without my approval Bill 232481 entitled Allocation of Debt Reduction and Emergency Allocation Account Funds for SGA Compensation. I regret that Bill 232481 contains provisions which I cannot approve consistently with my sense of duty to the student body and my obligations to the Constitution of KSU SGA. I am therefore constrained to return it to the Senate with my objections as attached. The bill is presented to me at a time when many members of KSU SGA are disappointed with our organization's membership and involvement. While I recognize and appreciate this attempt toward a solution, I must also protect and defend the interests of the student body. In the past week, I have received feedback from many, including past senators, present senators, future senators, the press, and even those with little to no connection or interest in SGA. The message is clear. Students do not want to see Bill 232481 take effect. Firstly, there are valid concerns regarding the potential long-term implications of this bill. It is crucial to consider whether the proposed compensation might inadvertently incentivize a focus on monetary gain over the core responsibilities and duties of SGA members. This could potentially undermine our organization's effectiveness and ultimately cause separation from KSU SGA's servant-hearted mission. Furthermore, it is important to acknowledge the lack of concrete evidence regarding the effectiveness of financial compensation in improving recruitment and retention within SGA. While preferences for certain compensation items may have been expressed, it is essential to ensure that any initiative undertaken are based on sound evidence and strategic planning. An effort was made to draw comparison between K-State's peer and aspirational institutions, but there was no conclusive evidence to support the notion that increased compensation was the solution to involvement challenges. Moreover, there are sustainability concerns associated with the allocation of funds from the debt reduction/emergency savings account. While the immediate availability of funds may seem promising, relying on these resources in the long term could compromise our ability to address future financial challenges or emergencies. Additionally, the allocation of funds for parking passes may exacerbate existing demand for garage parking on campus, potentially disadvantaging other students. Now, I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge that I, as student body president, am compensated member of KSU SGA. This is a fact. The student body president receives a scholarship, compensation, and a parking pass, for which I am sincerely grateful. The logic of Bill 232481 implies that the position of student body president must, then, be highly sought after, with intense competition among interested students. To that end, I would point to our uncontested election just over a year ago. In conclusion, by the power vested in us by the KSU student body, we maintain the right to collect and allocate fees. This is an incredible privilege, and certainly not one to be taken lightly. I fear that Bill 232481, should it take effect, would bring into question the legitimacy of KSU SGA and its ability to steward the resources it has been entrusted by students. I urge you to explore alternative approaches to addressing the recruitment and retention challenges within SGA, while also prioritizing open dialogue, collaboration, and fiscal responsibility. This will be essential in finding sustainable and effective solutions that best serve the interests of all members of our organization and the broader student body. Considering these objections, it is my honor and duty to return Bill 232481 without my approval. Okay, are there, Senator Mason?
I move to reconsider Bill 232481.
Second.
Objection.
Okay, it has been moved, seconded, and objected to reconsider. This is not a debatable motion. All of those in favor, please raise your placards now. Proxies raised too.
Where are we voting for?
The reconsideration of Bill 81. All those in favor, raise your placard now. Proxies raised too. Oh, sorry. All those opposed, same sign. Ooh, I'm gonna count.
Division.
I just want to roll call vote.
Okay, all those in favor of a roll call vote, raise your placards now. This requires 15. Okay, we're gonna do a roll call vote on the motion to reconsider.
Bellamy,
Yes.
Biggs,
No.
Blood,
Yes.
Broughton,
Yep.
Bruckner,
No.
Koch,
No.
Compton, Cuesta, yes. Cup, Dennis,
No.
Drotz,
Yes.
Dunce,
No.
Fogel,
No.
Glasscock,
No.
Griffith,
Yes.
Haynes,
Yes.
Heatherman,
No.
Hesseltine, Hoffmans,
Yes by proxy.
Hulsey,
No by proxy.
Hundley,
No.
Jacobson,
No.
Kirshen,
No.
Kidd,
No.
Kermer,
No.
Kinsey, Lee, Lilly,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Lynn,
Yes.
Mason,
Yes.
Melcher,
No.
Moore,
No.
O'Malley,
Pass by proxy.
Oury,
Yes.
Pelton, Peterson,
No.
Rios,
No by proxy.
Rivard,
Yes by proxy.
Rogers,
No.
Sia Carly,
Yes.
Sia Nick,
Yes.
Salmon,
Yes.
Shirky,
No.
Streetman, Strunk,
Yes.
Sushanik,
Yes.
West,
No.
Wingert,
No, sir.
Wolf,
No.
Zatko,
Yes.
and moving on to the passes, Oury, or, sorry, O'Malley by proxy.
No by proxy.
Okay. The motion will fail on a vote of 22-26.
Okay, moving on to, do we have any further director's reports? Okay, we will move on to approval of the allocations. Is there a motion to approve the allocations? Chair Long.
I move for the allocations. Second.
The allocations will stand approved. We will now move into final action, starting with Resolution 232468. Will the author please come, Caucus Leader Kidd?
Or question of inquiry. The chat on Zoom, have we been monitoring what is being said there? All right, cool. Okay, great, thanks. Appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. We got those 2 votes. Okay, is there a motion? Or we don't need a motion. Will the author of Resolution 68 please come forward? Allocation of student general surplus funds for Cats Cupboard is referred favorably out of committee 8-1 to 0. changes been made?
Just a couple. The budget office is still referring to this fund as bond surplus. That's been reflected here. Line something 48 was amended to say $160,000 of permanent funding. It was at $200,000. 40 of that accounted for an EOF fund, which is not in any way permanent, so that's been reduced to reflect that. And then the committee, during the meeting on Monday, chose to adopt an amendment which raised the allocation to $95,000 for FY25 to reflect, to allocate additional funds to hopefully allow Cats Cupboard to operate for some portion of the summer months and gather data on what the need and cost would be for operating in those months. That's all the changes.
You have first rights to debate.
Okay. There's a lot of thoughts on this one, as there should be. We're using a decent amount of money to fund a very important thing, the definition of what I think I would consider a service to campus. I would ask, as we go through all this, we remember that the lovely members of the SSF committee have put forward around 9 to 10 hours at this point on this resolution and allocation, and this is what they come up with. This is not the first, this is not the second, this is not the third number that they've come up with and put towards. This is the fourth number that has been put towards this. This is the one that we feel is the best for Cats Cupboard and their long-term needs and purposes. Oh, yes.
Seeing as that was debate in the positive, is there debate in the negative? Senator Shirkey.
I move to amend the resolution.
State that amendment. Jeremy, will you get that pulled up?
Yep.
Parliamentarian Cameron.
Also, question of privilege, when you say state the amendment, do I like to read all of those?
You just read the amendment, like the text of the amendment.
Okay.
That I will, yeah, right, very specific.
Very neat.
Don't give me
Yes. Yes, Madam Speaker. All right, so state the amendment. You will see on line 18 that another clause is added. The sentence, another clause added to the sentence, to follow Resolution 222308, which, this is a direct quote from the resolution, would prompt KSU to submit proposals to address charter aims and accelerate existing relevant university initiatives. The next change is on line 30 and 31. So I'm proposing to strike nearly triple to more than 3,400, replace it with exceeded 4,762. The next change is on line 34, striking the phrase nearly doubled, replacing with reached $25,000 for Fairchild Hall and $50,000 for 1021 Denison Avenue. Line 50, striking $160,000 of permanent hard sources of funding beginning, replacing with $110,000 for office uses in fiscal year 25 and fiscal year 26, $40,000 for student wages in fiscal year 25 and fiscal year 26, and $50,000 for lease payments. Next alteration, line 56. Adding the clause after the word accounts, which would end the whereas, as their direct quote from Cats Cupboard's public proposal to SSF. Food inventory has no specific funding source is. End quote. The next alteration is on line 93. We are changing the word enacted to resolved. This is a resolution. Next change is line 96. This is where we get to the substance of the amendment. Crossing out 95, replacing with number 150 for the effect of raising the allocation amount to $150,000. Line 101, same thing. Crossing out 95, replacing with 150 to the effect of raising the allocation amount to $150,000. That is all.
Okay, we are, Chair Long?
Question. Consider the be it resolved for the amendment. That's how it should be. Where are you getting the average visits per month?
Yeah, so the average visits per month, and so in the public SSF meeting, we were given this document, and it has 3,400 visits per month for 1021 Denison Avenue, right? So, that's, if I recall, that's the newest building. That's the one where, like that 100,000 reserve they have, it was to build that building. Notably, Cat's Cupboard is not just that one building. There's also Fairchild Hall, and that...
They have food down in that space.
This was concurrent to... All right, an amendment can be made, a friendly amendment, by unanimous consent. Madam Speaker, I'd like to fix this. This is an error. So
Are there any objections to friendly amending the amendment?
Just getting rid of the exceeded 4762.
Question.
Yes.
This is a friendly amendment to the amendment, so it's not a friendly amendment to the bill.
Correct.
That is correct.
Okay.
Friendly amendments can be made by debate, in debate only with unanimous consent. This is a second-degree amendment, and that's cool.
Philip, can we also, sorry, Senator, can we also get rid of 2,500 for Fairchild Hall on line 34?
So that statement is a factual statement. It was 25,000 for Fairchild Hall. It is now 50,000 for 1021 Denison Avenue. I'm going to decline to take that as a, I'll take it. All right. We'll, friendly amend 34, 35 to just remove my amendment to lines 34 and 35.
Okay, we are now going to go into a hand vote on the consideration of the amendment before debate. So this is whether or not we should talk about the amendment. All those in favor, please raise your placards now. Proxies raised 2. All opposed, same sign. Okay, the motion will be considered. You have first rights to debate on the amendment.
One moment, I'm gonna get my little timer for 4 minutes. All right, so there are basically 3 broad parts to this amendment. The first is changes to the whereas. Doesn't actually affect what happens in the bill. I just thought it was important to correct some factual records and then to correct my errors in correcting the factual records. So what's up there, what's going to be up there now, removing 31 and 34, those are changes to the factual record to add some context to this amendment so that you all know what you're getting yourselves into. Then we get to the second part of the amendment, which is technical changes. So that is the changing enacted to resolved. If you don't change enacted to resolved, then this is not a resolution. This is a meaningless piece of paper. What happens is it ceases to be a main motion because it requires that word at the beginning of the resolution text. So it stops actually being enforceable if you don't change it from enacted to resolved. And then there's the third part, which is the substantive change. 95,000 to 150,000. So as it stands right now, we can give them 95,000 one-time allocation to fiscal year 25, Cat's Cupboard. They're going to spend that on food. They're going to burn it. They're going to spend their reserve, 100K. They're going to burn it. And they are going to be sitting here, January, February, March at current rate of expenditure, begging you for money because their doors are about to shut. Or alternatively, they are going to have to substantially reduce their operations. And maybe instead of serving 3,400 students a month, maybe they can only serve 2,600 or 3,000. They have to make those numbers line up, and they simply don't line up with a $95,000 allocation. There is a lot of important work that's done by this body. Whether it's our regular allocations for student organizations and activities, whether it is stating the opinion of KSU-SGA through resolutions and condemnations. There's a lot of important work done here. But there is no work more important than that of helping those incapable of helping themselves. Who here in this chamber understands true hunger? Who here is maybe a first-generation college student whose family is incredibly poor, I would hazard a guess as to not say it's 40%. I suspect it's less than 40% in this chamber, though I may be wrong. The national college average of food insecure students, people who do not know where their next meal is coming from, is 40%. This is pulled directly from the public information from the 2023 study conducted on nationwide food insecurity. How many people in this chamber have friends, maybe from high school, maybe from college, that come to your house or that, you know, try to get a free like pass from you at the dining center, not because they just want to hang out, but because they don't have any food at home. There is no work more important in this body than this such allocation, that of providing food for those who don't know where they're going to get it otherwise. That's why you should vote for the amendment and then for the bill. Thank you.
Seeing as that was debate in the positive on the amendment, is there debate in the negative? Senator Saya?
All right, good evening, everybody. I am debating negative because I want to provide a little bit more context to the discussions that happened in the Student Services Fee Committee, because I think those are really important, and I'm not sure that those are captured by the information that previous speakers have provided to you. So the center of our discussion in committee followed what our goals are for Cats Cupboard 1 year from now. Because this is a temporary allocation, we want to put Cats Cupboard in the strongest position in January of 2025 to present us with a more long-term solution. So we asked ourselves, what does a strong Cats Cupboard look like? And we had 3 main points. The first, a strong Cats Cupboard would have stable operation for us to observe. So Cats Cupboard has suffered a lot from vulnerability or ambiguity in their operation. Their process has exploded so much in the new facility that we honestly, in committee, had no real bearings to make long-term financial decisions. It's important that we can observe some type of steady state before we make any sort of serious investment. The more stable Cats Cupboard is, the more we can actually make long-term choices. Now, this conflicts very much with the argument of previous speakers, who would have you believe that Cats Cupboard will implode if we don't fund them up to the amended amount. But that's actually not true. When we sat down at committee, the original proposed amount to you all last week was $75,000. The chair of the Student Services Fee Committee sent that amount to Cats Cupboard, basically asking, what's your response to this? This is where the committee landed. How would this impact you? Give us more information for our discussion later. And Cats Cupboard said that they did not expect that that would decrease their operation or seriously impact them in any way. They thought that their operational capacity would remain consistent with a $75,000 investment. Now, we also had a student come to committee and propose that we increase the funding slightly to accommodate summer operational hours, and the committee decided to accept that. So we're actually giving them more than Cats Cupboard already told us is plenty for them to maintain stable operation. I'm really happy with that change, and I think we're moving forward with a package that will allow Cats Cupboard to remain consistent for the next year. The second point of a strong Cats Cupboard is high demand. We want to make sure that Cats Cupboard in 2025 has used up all of the students' dollars, all of these dollars that we're giving them. I speak to that personally because I'm also a member of the Tuition Enhancements Committee. I know that certain applicants to that committee didn't use up their entire budgets from last year, and that reflected poorly on them in discussion, right? Students want to see that our dollars are being spent and spent quickly. The more we invest in Cats Cupboard, the more we run the risk that they may not use all of the money by January of 2025. Remember, it's not the whole year, It's by that time. We want to see that they've used a lot of money by that time in order for us to identify that there is a high demand. I think Cats Covered is vulnerable if they don't use all of their money, and we know at the $95,000 investment level that they will use all of their money. The third and final target for Cats Covered 1 year from now is more buy-in from units across campus. Cats Covered laid it out pretty cleanly for us that they want to attract as much funding pools as possible from other students. And we on the Student Services Fee Committee feel that there are more sources they could draw from and more student funds already spent they could use as leverage. Last semester, the Tuition Enhancements Committee spent $40,000 to go towards student wages at Cats Covered. As of right now, Cats Covered has not made any attempts to use that to leverage donations from the KSU Foundation or from other sources.
Time for debate has expired.
We see those three goals. Vote no.
Seeing as that was debate in the negative, is there further debate in the positive on the amendment? Coordinator Hoffman.
I might AirPod in because I'm listening to the State of the Union right now. Yeah, I think both of the previous speakers' points were very valid. However, I want to address that the opinions of the Student Services Committee were not uniform, as previous speaker might have led you to believe, as not on this bill, but the initial bill that this microphone is rubbing on my nerves, huh? As the initial bill that we passed at the $75,000 amount was voted on a very contentious amount of 5 to 4 to 0. I think a lot of the people in the minority, and I will speak for them, and they can come up here and correct me if I'm wrong, but we wanted more money than 75, and for me specifically, we wanted the full 150,000 because we believed that student services fee is supposed to support the students, and that is exactly what Cats Covered does. Supports the students. Serves over 3,400 students each month. Each month. I'll let that sink in. If that is not money that we should be giving from student services fee, I don't know what is. And so this $95,000 amount, it is an improvement, but I think a full 150,000 is what we should be focused on. We have the money in reserves to do it. I see no clear reason to vote no on this bill. Thank you.
Seeing as that was debate in the positive on the amendment, is there further debate in the negative on the amendment? Chair.
What did you do to this thing?
Dude, it was awful, man.
I'm going to take off the student services fee chair hat. We've had our last meeting, so there goes the unbiased cap. I'll get my real opinions going now. The committee this year, and the committees for the last several years, have suffered from the impacts of COVID. And our new mentality is incredibly fiscally conservative due to the needs of COVID. Having to go to our student health care and say, we're cutting your budget $1 million. Doing that took a change. I don't think there's a single person in this room that says Cats Covered does not deserve money. I've never been debate on whether or not Cats Covered, or what kind of money Cats Covered should get, but I'll say what I think, and what I think the majority of the committee feels as well. Cats Covered should be on the student services fee in the coming years at some point. This is the definition of a service to make sure our students get fed. So the question then becomes, how do we make sure that they get on the fee later? The committee this year, when the discussion what was brought up for a fee increase and to put them on budget, unanimous no. There was not a single person seriously interested. Maybe there was one. There was not any serious interest in a fee increase to put Cats Covered on the budget. And as of right now, We cannot put Cats Cupboard on the budget at what they need, $150,000 from us. Cats Cupboard needs $150 from us to operate long term. And as of right now, that committee cannot fiscally responsibly put them on the budget for $150,000, which they should be. So the question then becomes, how do we get them there? By showing this committee that as of right now is very fiscally conservative due to needs of COVID and not interested in fee increases and very wary of increasing student costs as they should be, that Cats Cupboard absolutely needs 150, has the need for it, and has all the data backed up. And how do we do that? By giving them this amount of money. Well, not this one, sorry, the $95,000. If there is any possibility that the committee next year can say, I'm not sure they need 150. I'm not sure they could use it. And that committee votes no and does not bring them forward. As in the report is pointing out, they're going to have troubles in FY26 no matter what amount of money we give them. Their reserves will run out. They need our long-term support in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. We have to set them up for the coming years to present to that committee the best case to get that amount of money. And that requires right now giving them just enough so that they can prove to the committee next year that the committee should be comfortable and able to recommend to the Kansas Board of Regents and the students, yes, we are raising your student costs to fund a food pantry. And it absolutely needs it. Vote no on the amendment, which is in effect saying yes to Cats Cupboard long term.
Seeing as that was debate in the negative on the amendment, is there further debate in the positive on the amendment? Emerging Leader Glanville.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So, I come from a very small community that is very food insecure. And I vividly remember when I was younger, I'm speaking kindergarten, my mother was finishing up her teaching degree. This was her second degree. She was in the building with me, which was some of my happiest times, but also at the same time, nobody in my household held a steady job. My father was laid off from work at Detroit Diesel in Emporia. And many a times we struggled to be able to afford food. I don't believe that we should play a what-if game with feeding students on campus, because when we feed students, we're feeding their minds, and in turn, we're pumping out fantastic people from Kansas State University to help change the world, to help solve these problems. So while you may want to see, well, do they need all this money? Oh my gosh, absolutely, they need all the money they can get, because we should be feeding our students and not leaving it to a game of what if. Will they be able to afford everything to be able to feed every student? I believe we should be feeding every student and not leaving it to a game of will they go hungry because we decided to cut some corners. Thank you.
Seeing as that was debate in the positive on the amendment, is there debate in the negative on the amendment? Further debate in the positive? And any further debate at all on the amendment? Senator Shirkey, is it positive or negative?
Positive.
Thought I'd check.
Thank you, Speaker. Well, I don't really know quite how to follow up the previous speaker. My family and I, for one, have been fortunate enough to avoid being food insecure. We never had to worry about if we needed to use a program like Cats Cupboard. But I know many that do. I know that when I got my appointment a month ago, the Student Senate, I took that appointment because I wanted to do the right thing. And I believe that every person in this chamber is here for that same reason. You're all here because you want to do the right thing. At least I hope so. If not, you can resign. I know you're all here because you want to see this campus be made a better place. You want to solve the problems that matter. I admire the previous negative speaker and their very detailed, political, long-term, future arguments. I don't have that political tact. I see a problem, and I move to correct it. The problem here could not be more serious. The problem here is not whether we sign a piece of paper. The problem is not whether or not some new committee gets made. The problem is not whether there's some new signs out on some buildings. The problem is whether people go hungry because the members of this chamber refuse to help.
Please refrain from attacking members' motive.
My apologies, parliamentarian. Please, vote yes on the amendment. Do what you know is right. Vote yes on the amendment. Vote yes on the bill. And prove to the students of Kansas State University that you still care, that you are still here for the right reasons. Thank you.
Seeing as that was debate in the positive on the amendment, is there further debate in the negative on the amendment? Senator Zia.
I think the positive side of this debate mistakes the framing of the issue, right? The positive gets up here and says, Cat's Cupboard is extremely important, students should not go hungry. And then the negative comes up here and says, I absolutely agree with you. This is the money we've decided is the best way to give Cat's Cupboard the most amount of success. And then the positive gets up here again and says, Cat's Cupboard is very important, we don't want students to go hungry. Everyone agrees that Cat's Cupboard is an extreme priority, and I don't feel that the positive speakers in this debate have responded to the actual strategy that the student services fee has laid out for how Cat's Cupboard can be most successful. I'm asking you to support that strategy and vote no on this amendment. Thank you.
Seeing as that was debate in the negative on the amendment, is there further debate in the positive on the amendment? Further debate in the negative? And any further debate at all? Caucus Leader Kidd, is it positive or negative?
It can't be neutral, right?
It cannot.
So, sorry, I'm old, sorry. Negative.
Okay.
Dang it, I wish we still had neutral debate. One piece of information I just wanted to, sorry. One piece of information, sorry, on the YouTube, we look like we're angels when you're running the spotlight, so I wanted to move this over. One piece of information I just wanted to share with the group too. One thing that I brought up that me and Advisor Owensby did during the meeting, we just took some time to research what other universities do with their food, with their respective food pantries. What we found as well is that there are a lot of other universities that do have food pantries that have a ton of different sponsors, so banks, community organizations, other entities, and again, part of the reason why we stuck with the amount that we ended up voting on was, again, part of that process, in my opinion, was to allow for them to go out and seek out those other entities that could support them financially as well. And so that burden isn't just on the students. The other piece I'll share is that when this was introduced many years ago before COVID, so back in 2017-18, how it was kind of spun to us at the time, I remember sitting right there to listen to it all. It was to use money from our reserves, but only once, and that it would be sustainable kind of on its own. And so I think we owe it to them to let that process be seen through from its original intent. I don't think the original intent was just to have that full burden be placed on students to pay for Cat's Cupboard. So again, this was meant to be more neutral, but if I had to pick a side, I guess it was more negative with sticking to what the committee decided. So thank you.
Seeing as that was debate in the negative, is there further debate in the positive on the amendment? Coordinator Navarro.
Thank you all for letting me speak. I'll make this quick. A previous speaker mentioned that that the positive arguments have not been addressing the issues of the negative. I would like to say that the positive arguments have been aimed at addressing the immediate needs of students next year. Now, the strategy that is posed by former speakers is that we want to put Cats Cupboard on the student service fee in the future. This will not address the immediate need of the students. That is the issue that we're talking about. Now, if this may create a lack of a need for it to be on the fee, which I doubt, because I feel like Cats Cupboard would probably come in with both statistics since, hopefully, right, they received this money, and if they didn't, then they could still show that need to be on the fee. Okay, cool, thank you.
Seeing as that was debate in the positive on the amendment, is there further debate in the negative on the amendment? Further debate in the positive? Senator Griffith.
So as a previous speaker said, the positive side has been coming up here to debate and discuss the fundamental needs of the students, and I agree. Now, I can be considered a bit of a risk taker, but to take a risk on the fundamental ability for our students to feed themselves, no person from the negative side has come and said that we cannot spend $150,000, that this would put an undue burden on us. Spending $150,000 is something we can do, and it's something I believe we should do. Previous speakers have argued that just because if we give them the full $150,000, the following Student Services Fee Committee would not be able to accurately assess the needs of how much they should be put for their line item. I disagree. I say if we give them the full $150,000 and they use it, that's great. But that also means that if we didn't give them the full $150,000, they would have spent significantly more than they could have had. They might have had to default and shut down. And that's simply not a risk I think is worth taking. We have the money, we have the ability to spend it without putting an undue burden on ourselves. So I think that we should. So please vote yes for the amendment, and regardless of how it plays out, vote yes on the bill.
Seeing as that was debate in the positive on the amendment, is there further debate in the negative on the amendment? Senator Lilly?
Is the previous question in order?
Has it been 5 rounds? Previous question is in order.
I moved the previous. Second.
Okay. It has been moved and seconded to move to previous question. All those in favor, please raise your placards now. Proxies raised 2. All opposed, same sign. Okay. We will now go to previous question. So we will move into a hand vote on adopting this amendment. All of those in favor of adopting the amendment, Senator Glasscock?
For a roll call vote?
Okay. That doesn't need a second, it just needs 15 placards. So if 15 people would like a roll call vote on the adoption of the amendment. Okay, yeah, we're at 15. Okay, so we will go into a roll call vote on the adoption of the amendment.
Bellamy?
Yes.
Biggs?
No.
Blood?
No.
Broughton?
No.
Bruckner?
Yes.
Koch?
No by proxy.
Compton? Cup? Dennis?
Pass.
Drotz?
Yes.
Dunce?
Yes.
Fogel?
Yes.
Glasscock?
Pass.
Griffith?
Yes.
Haynes?
Pass.
Heatherman,
Pass.
Hesseltine,
Pass.
Hoffmans, Hulsey,
No by proxy.
Hundley,
Pass.
Jacobson,
No.
Kirshen,
Yes.
Kidd,
No.
Kermer,
Yes.
Kinsey, Lee,
Yes.
Lilly,
No.
Long,
No.
Lynn,
Pass.
Mason,
No.
Melcher,
No.
Moore,
Yes.
O'Malley, Oury,
Pass.
Pelton, Peterson,
No.
Rios, Rivard,
Abstained by proxy.
Rogers,
Yeah.
Sia Carly,
No.
Sia Nick,
No.
Salmon,
Pass.
Shirky,
Yes.
Streetman, Strunk,
No.
Sushanik,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Wingert,
No.
No.
Wolf, Zatgo.
No.
Okay, going back to the passes. Dennis,
No.
Dunce,
No.
Glasscock,
Yes.
Haynes,
No.
Heatherman,
Yes.
Hesseltine,
No.
Hundley,
No.
Lynn,
Yes.
Oury,
Yes.
and Salmon.
No.
Okay. That motion will fail on a vote of 17 to 26 to 1.
Senator Shirky?
Resolution is now out of order. It's not resolved. It can't be passed. It's no longer a main motion by Robert's Rules of Order.
Oh. He's saying because it says be enacted, not be resolved.
Yeah, so it's currently not, it cannot be acted upon. This is no longer a valid bill.
Chair Long?
Would you consider a friendly amendment to change on line 93, the word enacted to resolve?
I would, in fact, Your Blood.
I object. Unanimous consent is required during debate. There isn't a debate. This is past that. We wanted to risk it.
Chair Long?
I get a 2-minute recess to send you an amendment that says be it resolved.
Second.
I move to recess for 2 minutes.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. We are recessed for 2 minutes. We'll be back at 9.
The only big one was we added
Testing? Okay, so you can hear it. Is this loud enough, do you think? Is this loud? Testing?
You got it.
Adjourn
Okay, if you all could find your seats, we are back. Now that we are back, does someone have a Chair Long?
I gotta be in my seat, hold on. I move to amend the resolution 81, not 81, we already killed that one. Second.
State that amendment.
It says be it resolved.
You have to.
Can we pull it up on the screen?
Go.
That's not it. That's not it.
No, the one that was sent to you. The one from Chair Long.
Yeah, scroll down to the second page. Look at that. After all that, we should not give Cat's Cupboard no money because one word is wrong. Vote yes.
Seeing as that was, now we go into a hand vote to consider the amendment. All those in favor of considering the amendment, please raise your placards now. Proxies raised 2. All opposed, same sign. Okay. Chair Long, you have first rights to debate.
I always forget what that motion to consider. Yeah, vote yes, because Cat's Cupboard, as I think we all can agree, is good.
Seeing as that was debate in the positive on the amendment, is there debate in the negative on the amendment? Further debate in the positive. Any further debate at all on the amendment? Okay, seeing none, we'll go into a hand vote on the adoption of this amendment. All those in favor, please raise your placards now. Proxies raised 2. All opposed, same sign. It will stand approved. Senator Lilly.
I have an amendment.
State that amendment. Can you get that one pulled up?
Okay, so basically what this amendment does is keeps it at the amount recommended by the committee over the next 6 months, And then if we see that there's a need, we can increase it. Reason being, they have funds that they can dip into if they need to operate at higher costs, or if they don't end up using that money, we're not down $50,000.
Okay, seeing as that was positive on the amendment, is there debate in the negative?
I object to consideration of this amendment.
Seconded.
Was that debate? I thought he was just stating it.
You're so right. So we are going to go into a hand vote on consideration. All those in favor of considering, please raise your placards now. Proxies raised too. To considering the amendment. This is not voting on the amendment. This is just on whether or not you would like to discuss the amendment. All in favor, raise your placards now. Proxies raised too. And all opposed, same sign. Yeah, that will fail to be considered. We will now go back into debating the main motion. We will now go into debate on the motion itself, or on the resolution itself. Okay, we are now on a speech in the negative on the bill itself. Are there further speeches in the positive on the bill itself? Is there any further debate at all on the bill itself? Okay, we will go into a roll call vote. Or it's a resolution. No, we won't. Raise your placards to approve Resolution 68. All opposed, same sign. That resolution will stand approved. Okay, next up we have Resolution 232469, approval of the fiscal year 2025 student-centered tuition enhancement allocation. Will the author please come forward? This was referred out of committee favorably, 7-0 to 0.
Okay, so Tech has 2 jobs throughout the year. Here is the product of our second job allocating SCTE funds. The committee heard proposals over the course of, I want to say, 5 weeks from 13 different groups. We had half of our allocations for new things, half of them for returning. Nothing this year is heading into its 4th year. All of our returning applicants were going into their 2nd or 3rd year of funding. I think that this is a really exciting and supportive thing to do for our university. It is a great privilege that we have a seed money program like this here at K-State to get to fund these new initiatives on campus. I don't really see any drawbacks or arguments against supporting the things that we are supporting here. And I hope that if anybody has reservations or concerns about the things that we are funding at zero, or about things that didn't get the full amount that they requested, that they trust that the committee spent weeks and weeks and weeks on this process, and it's one of our only 2 jobs, and that there was a lot of careful consideration and thought that went into every single decision that the committee is recommending for you tonight.
Seeing as that was debate in the positive, is there debate in the negative? Further debate in the positive? And is there any further debate at all? Okay, seeing none, we will go into a hand vote on Resolution 232469. All those in favor, please raise your placards now. Proxies raised too. All opposed, same sign. Okay, it will stand approved. Next, we will go on to Resolution 232470, recommendation to Kansas State University regarding graduation regalia. Will the author please come forward? This was referred favorably out of committee, 6-0 to 1. Have any changes been made?
No.
You have first rights to debate.
Yeah, this is all pretty straightforward stuff. Everyone in here spends a lot of time in this room and outside of this room in committees. So that's kind of where this all started from. Just kind of an update. Marcus and I and Carson all met today to talk more about the regalia stuff. We sent in an official form. hopefully we're going to speed up that process. And then we're pairing up, I think, with NZ Sportswear. End Zone Sportswear. They're local to Manhattan. We're going to have like a little homepage where everyone can just buy their own cords. So yeah, that's really it.
Point of inquiry.
Yes.
This may have been answered last week. Does this also include people who are part of the at-large committees if they have been on for 2 years?
So pretty much it's just like you have to be a member of SGA and serve 2 years.
Coxeter Kid?
Question of privilege. Is it too late to ask to be added as a sponsor to this or to this document?
No, we can get you added.
Can I be added as a sponsor? It's like the
Yeah. Senator Griffin.
Question of privilege. Can the speaker please send out the legislation sponsorship form?
Yes, it is on the York Central. Okay. Thank you. Seeing as that was debate in the positive, is there debate in the negative on this resolution? Further debate in the positive. Coxeter Kid.
All right, so let's give a round of applause to Senator Wolf for doing that. Yeah. So earlier today when we were meeting, we were talking about why haven't we done this before? And I'm like, yeah, that's a good question. Why haven't we? So just more logistics, just for y'all to be aware of. So I was talking to Advisor Jackson in the back, or Dr. Jackson, AVP Jackson, whatever Jackson, in the back during recess. And the storefront, just for more logistics too, the storefront is the best solution at this time. We also discussed earlier today the possibility of SGA buying them for folks to get them at, but then it was just kind of commented on that once you start purchasing an item to gifts to us, then it gets a little funky. So that's why the storefront is what we're moving forward with. I know the girl who approves the form, and so they were due last Friday. So I kind of lied by backdating the form, but I'm going to talk to the girl on Monday. So hopefully the goal will be for all of our spring 24 grads. Not me, I'm not graduating, but all of our spring 24 grads, you'll be able to have those soon. I believe with InZone, we'll be able to get the storefront set up hopefully after spring break, and then one of us will have a link to then share with the group. So I know this is supposed to be for positive debate for the document, so for the legislation, please vote this up, and more logistics will come later.
Seeing as that was debate in the positive, is there further debate in the negative on this resolution? Further debate in the positive? Is there any further debate at all? Seeing none, we will move into a hand vote on Resolution 70. All those in favor, please raise your placards now. Proxies raised 2. All opposed, same sign. It will stand approved. Next up, we have Resolution 232471, resolution for the Financial Futures Initiative. Will the author please come forward? This was referred out favorably, 6-0 to 0. I ask if any changes have been made first. Have any changes been made?
I don't think so, as far as I understand, no.
Okay, you have first rights to debate.
All right, awesome. So essentially what this program is going to look like is we really just want to encourage K-State like faculty, administrators, and different people who are kind of higher up and making all the decisions for us. We just want to encourage them to implement financial literacy programs into every college and hopefully one day into every degree program. Because essentially the argument for this would be is that we equip students to be able to go on and lead successful careers and be able to get a good job after college, because I think that's why a lot of us are here. We're here to get a job after college, but we really don't equip them for some of the things and some of the challenges that happen after that. And that's really what this resolution aims to kind of support. We really don't want students to be blindsided by huge packets of benefit packages being slapped on their desk on the first day and say, hey, pick one, which one like sounds good to you? We want them to be able to understand the things that are being given to them and the challenges that are being presented every single day. So I urge you to vote yes. So yeah.
Seeing as that was debate in the positive, is there debate in the negative? Is there further debate in the positive? Coxeter Solomon.
This will be very short because I expect this to pass, but I'm a peer financial counselor. I've worked at PowerGap Financial the past 2.5 years. It's been one of the most extraordinary experiences of my life. I've gotten to be a part of this. There are videos out there about me talking about financial stuff. They're very fun if you ever go like to watch them. Really enjoyed that experience. And yeah, I think this is extraordinary. I think SGA having started this program, it being so successful, probably one of the most successful programs I think SGA is like invested in through SCTE funding. This is really cool that we get to support it again on a much larger scale across the university. And yeah, I would encourage you to vote yes.
Seeing as that was debate in the positive, Senator Oury?
Seconded.
Is there debate in the negative? Further debate in the positive? And is there any further debate at all? We will go into a hand vote on Resolution 71. All those in favor, please raise your placards now. All opposed, same sign. That will stand approved. Okay, up next we have Bill 232489, amendments to the KSU SGA bylaws regarding the addition of the UPC president to cabinet. Will the author please come forward? This was referred out of committee favorably 4-1 to 2. Have any changes been made? The answer is no.
No.
You have first rights to debate.
Okay, so just a little bit of background on kind of where this idea came from. So as you all know, the Center for Student Involvement is now Student Programs and Involvement, and it was kind of a structural change. So it used to be the union, under it had UPC, and then CSI was kind of separate, and under it was SGA, and then now it's all kind of been moved under the union, and it's SGA and UPC are kind of considered like peers almost. Because they're the two organizations that arguably have the largest impacts on a student's day-to-day life, with UPC doing a lot of the programming, SGA doing all the SGA things. So this is just a step to help improve that relationship, that communication, and also just kind of match the organizational change that was made at like the administrative level. This is more of just like the student level. Cool.
Seeing as that was debate in the positive, is there debate in the negative? Further debate in the positive? And is there any further debate at all? Seeing none, we will move into a roll call vote.
Bellamy.
Yes.
Biggs. Blood.
No.
Broughton.
Yes.
Bruckner. Koch.
Yes, by proxy.
Compton. Cub. Dennis.
Yes.
Drotz.
Yes.
Dunce.
Yes.
Fogel.
Yes.
Glasscock.
Yes.
Griffith.
No.
Haynes.
Yes.
Heatherman.
Yes.
Hesseltine.
Yes.
Hoffmans.
Yes, by proxy.
Holsey. Hundley.
Yes.
Jacobson.
Yes.
Kirshen.
Yes.
Kidd.
Yes.
Kermer.
No.
Kinsey. Lee.
Yes.
Lilly.
Yes.
Long.
Yes.
Lynn.
Yes.
Mason.
Yes.
Melcher.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
O'Malley. Oury.
Yes.
Pelton. Peterson.
Yes.
Rios. Rivard. Rogers.
Yes, by proxy.
Saya Carly.
Yes.
Saya Nick.
Yes.
Salmon.
Yes.
Shirky.
Yes.
Streetman. Strunk.
Yes.
Sushanik.
Yes.
West.
Yes.
Wingert.
Yes.
Wolf.
Yes.
Zago.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, that will pass on a vote of 38 to 3 to 0.
Okay, up next we have Bill 232490, amendments to the KSUSGA bylaws regarding the election commissioner and the Senate Operations Committee. Will the author please come forward? This was referred out favorably, 5 to 0 to 0. Have any changes been made?
Other than the committee sponsorship, no.
Okay, you have first rights to debate.
Alrighty, so this was written because the Senate Operations Committee is the committee that is charged with running the elections, and yet the one person whose job it is to run the elections is not on the committee. So I thought it was reasonable to place them on the committee as a voting member, as well as the fact that there's nothing in the bylaws about initiatives, referendums, and plebiscites. So I decided to toss that in as well. So vote yes.
Okay, seeing as that's debate in the positive, is there any debate in the negative? Is there any further debate at all? Senator Oury?
Question?
Yeah.
Okay, so was there a reason that we left them out in the first place?
They've just never been on the committee. Like, so this is just adding them.
Okay, cool.
Okay, is there any further debate at all? Great. Now moving into a roll call vote on Bill 90. Senator Bellamy.
Yes.
Biggs. Blood.
Yes.
Broughton.
Yes.
Bruckner. Koch. Compton. Cub. Dennis.
Yes.
Drotz.
Yes.
Dunce.
Yes.
Fogel.
Yes.
Glasscock.
Yes.
Griffith.
Yes.
Haynes.
Yes.
Heatherman.
Yes.
Hesseltine. Hoffmans.
Yes, for proxy.
Hulsey. Hundley.
Yes.
Jacobson.
Yes.
Kirshen.
Yes.
Kidd.
Yes.
Kermer.
Yes.
Kinsey. Okay. Lee.
Yes.
Lilly.
Yes.
Long.
Yes.
Lynn.
Yes.
Mason.
Yes.
Melcher.
Yeah.
Moore.
Yes.
O'Malley. Oury.
Yes.
Helton. Peterson.
Yes.
Rios. Rivard. Rogers.
Yes, by proxy?
Saya Carly.
Yes.
Saya Nick.
Yes.
Salmon.
Yes.
Shirky.
Yes.
Streetman. Strunk.
Yes.
Sushanik.
Yes.
West.
Yes.
Wingert.
Yes.
Wolf.
Yes.
Zatko.
Yes.
Okay. Bill 90 will pass on a vote of 40 to 0 to 0.
Okay, up next we have Bill 232491. Senator Saya.
I move to bulk roll call bills 90 and 91. Sorry, 91 and 92.
Second.
Okay. Have any changes been made?
No? Maybe?
No.
Okay, great. So I won't spend a lot of time on this. The parliamentarian is supposed to be like this neutral, above everybody else position that can be relied upon for like an unbiased perspective. But they're selected by the speaker, and in reality, they're never actually above the speaker, right? Like it's great if they can be relied on as a resource, but they're fundamentally not this sort of omnipresent outside entity. So I think it would be better if the parliamentarian was more involved, or at least could be more involved, like all of the chairs are. That's all.
Seeing as that was debate in the positive, is there debate in the negative? Further debate in the positive? Senator Griffith.
I was born in the United Kingdom, and so I don't know how many of you know it, but in Parliament there is the position of the Speaker of the House of Commons, which is more akin to the parliamentarian here. Their job is to basically sit and be that figure above all to rule on things. But they don't get a vote in any of the proceedings going on in Parliament. Their constituents don't get a vote. And in fact, there is a tradition dating back almost 700 years is that the person elected to be the Speaker of Parliament is literally dragged to the chair because of how undesirable of a job it was. Not to mention the fact that if you reported to Parliament and the king didn't like it, you'd lose your head, but that's neither here nor there. President Linton is no dictator. But please, vote yes. This is a good thing. There's a reason it was referred out 5-0 to 0 from OBS.
Seeing as that was debate in the positive, is there debate in the negative on Bill 91? Further debate in the positive? Is there any further debate at all? Seeing none, we will go on to consider Bill 92, amendments to the KSUSGA bylaws regarding student senate parliamentarian. Will the author please come forward?
I'm not sure what happens if you vote for one but not the other, but don't.
Seeing as that was debate in the positive on Bill 92, is there debate in the negative on Bill 92? Further debate in the positive? Any further debate at all? Seeing none, we will go into a roll call vote on Bills 91 and 92.
Okay, and just a reminder, you can vote yes to one and yes to another, or yes to them both. And also no. So, anyway, Bellamy.
Yes to both.
Biggs. Blood.
Yes to all.
Broughton.
Yes to 91 and yes to 92.
Bruckner. Koch. Compton. Cub. Dennis.
Yes to both.
Drotz.
Yes for both.
Dunce.
Yes to both.
Fogel.
Yes to them all.
Glasscock.
Yes to both.
Griffith.
Yes to both.
Haynes.
Yes to both.
Heatherman.
Yes to both.
Heseltine.
Yes to both.
Hoffmans.
Yes to both by proxy.
Hulsey. Hundley.
Yes to both.
Jacobson.
Yes to both.
Kirshen. Kidd.
Yes to both.
Kidd.
Yes to both.
Kermer.
Yes to both.
Kenzie. Okay. Lee.
Yes to both.
Lilly.
Yes to both.
Long.
Yes to both.
Lynn.
Yes to both.
Great. Mason.
Yes to both.
Melcher.
Yes to both.
Moore.
Yes to both.
O'Malley. Oury.
Sí, los dos.
Pelton. Peterson.
Yes to both.
Rios. Rivard.
Yes to both by proxy.
Rogers.
Yes to both by proxy.
Syatt Carley.
Yes to both.
Syatt Nick.
Yes to both.
Solomon.
Yes to both.
Shirky.
Yes to both.
Streetman. Strunk.
Yes to both.
Sushanik.
Yes to both.
West.
Yes to both.
Wingert.
No to both.
Wolf.
Yes to both.
Zacko.
Yes.
Yes to both.
Yeah.
Great. Both bills 91 and 92 will pass on a vote of 40 to 1 to 0.
Okay, next up we have Bill 232493, amendments to the KSUSGA Constitution to align governing documents. Will the author please come forward? Chair Blood.
I move to bulk roll call 93, 94, and 95.
Second.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded to bulk roll call 92, 90, or 93, 94, and 95. Okay. Bill 93 was referred out favorably, 5-0 to 0. Have any changes been made?
Yes. Bill 93 on line 99 added the words at their discretion here because that exact phrasing is struck in the bylaws because the committee found it duplicitous to have the ability to call meetings of the KSUSGA in both governing documents.
Okay, were any other changes made?
That's it on 93. Do you want me to go over?
No, you have first rights to debate.
A lot of these changes are mainly just clarification, reorganization, allows things to hopefully make a little bit more sense in the Constitution, and overall non-controversial. You'll see a bunch of other edits to the governing documents throughout other pieces of legislation today, but really, like, most of these are there to update current practices and really just be pretty clean and straightforward. And so I don't see a reason why you wouldn't vote yes.
Okay, seeing as that was debate in the positive. Sure.
Regarding
93, I did. Line 434, I did unstrike the housing policy.
Yep. I also have another question about line 606 and 607. What is the intent behind crossing except in cases of violations of university rules?
Double jeopardy.
Yes, that is from a piece of legislation that was referred to the Governing Docs Committee, and then we postponed it indefinitely with the promise that we would add it to this. That is basically striking the ability to be tried for the same offense twice for violations of university rules. For context on that, I did reach out to General Counsel, and they saw no issues with this change from a liability legal perspective.
Okay, seeing as that was debate in the positive, is there debate in the negative on Bill 93? Debate in the positive. Is there any further debate at all? Okay. Next up, we have Bill 94, amendments to the KSUSGA bylaws to align governing documents. This was referred out favorably, 5-0 to 0. Have any changes been made?
Yes. Lines 160 to 171 were unstruck as the Safe Bar program now exists. It hadn't existed, and the executive branch brought it back. So that's under the Sexual Assault Prevention and Awareness Director's responsibilities. And then we unstruck something in Section 2 of the entire Be It Enacted clause that now has that section really have no edits. We just left it in there to keep everything consistent with the other weeks.
Okay, you have first rights to debate.
Again, mainly clears things up, finds some changes that we didn't make previously. I know it's pretty long, but hopefully simplifies and removes a lot of things that were duplicated throughout the governing documents. So, vote yes.
Okay, seeing as that was debate in the positive on Bill 94, is there a debate in the negative? Further debate in the positive? And is there any further debate at all on Bill 94?
Henry's hand raised.
Oh, yes. Did you have debate, Henry?
I more so had, I believe, a question more than anything. In Article 3 for the executive, Section 1, was that what was removed, lines 67 through 70. There's a bit of confusion on our end about sort of there had been some spotty communication this past administration between the two campuses, and I know that there was an attempt to reach out from our advisors to yours on more specifically who had been talked to on our end about this change and why there wasn't further discussion over it. I know it's a bit late in the sort of term for that. For my own speaking purposes, I'm just a senator, and I know we were wanting to at least have a little bit of discussion on this, or at least our president was and advisor wanting to have a bit more confirmation on more or less why this change was made, because we were more or less unaware until I saw this and brought it to their attention last week. Can I get some answers on that?
Yeah, it's already outlined in the Constitution that they're part of cabinet, and so I didn't want it to be defined twice.
Okay, I understand. From our perspective, it seemed like that was a right more or less being revoked. So we just wanted a little bit of clarity. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. There's a lot of those where we define things multiple times, and that removes it. And so if you just look at the changes independently, it can get a little confusing quickly. I apologize for that.
Okay, seeing as that was debate in the
All good, thank
positive, is there debate in the negative on Bill 94? Further debate in the positive? And is there any further debate at all? Seeing none, we have Bill 95, amendments to the KSU SGA statutes to align governing docs. This was also referred out favorably 5-0 to 0. Have any changes been made?
Yes. Basically, this added section 2, which states no, you're back on the other one. Let me see what it says. No worries. Sweet. It removes the part about standing committee chairs and mentees having their attendance taken during first and second roll call, and then added section 7, which was just changing all instances of chief financial officer within the statutes to vice president for administration and finance, and then renumbered some sections after that. So there's should be 2 extra sections in the bill that was introduced. Yeah.
Does that exempt committee chairs from attendance? Or is that just?
It doesn't change the attendance policy. There are some instances, right, where like committee chair, if they're not senators, committee chairs cannot be have the ability to run even if they're not a senator. And in that case, like they're still subject to the attendance policy each week, but don't vote, and we don't take their attendance currently. Like technically all mentees, like, well, it's up to the emerging leader coordinators, but have an attendance policy as well.
You have first rights to debate.
This one, more so than any of them, I think, is just cleaning up a bunch of stuff. The statutes are a bunch of rules that should be able to be iterated pretty quickly, but we lose a lot of those changes, especially when we do much more broad sweeping change. And so this will hopefully alleviate most of those concerns. If I had written everything out like I had for the other 2, we would have had an agenda at about probably over 150 pages. So I'm glad that we were able to do it this way. That's it.
Seeing as that was debate in the positive, is there debate in the negative? Is there further debate in the positive? Is there any further debate at all? Seeing none, we will go into a roll call vote on bills 93, 94, and 95.
Bellamy,
Yes to all.
Biggs, Blood,
Yes to all.
Broughton,
Yes to Bill 93, yes to Bill 94, and yes to Bill 95.
Koch,
Yes to all by proxy. That should one of them.
Compton, Cup, Dennis,
Yes to all.
Drotz,
Yes to all.
Dunce,
Yes to all.
Fogel,
Yes to all three.
Glasscock,
Yes to all.
Griffith,
Yes, yes, and yes.
Haynes,
Yes to all.
Heatherman,
Yes to all.
Hesseltine,
Yes to all.
Hoffmans, Hulsey, Hundley,
Yes to all.
Jacobson,
Yes to all.
Kirshen,
Yes to all.
Kidd,
Yes to all.
Kermer,
Yes to all.
Kinsey, Lee,
Yes to all.
Lilly,
Yes to all.
Long,
Yes to all.
Lynn,
Yes to all.
Mason,
Yes to all.
Melcher,
Yes to all.
Moore,
Yes to all.
O'Malley, Oury,
Yes to all.
Pelton, Peterson,
Yes to all.
Rios,
Yes to all by proxy.
Rivard, Rogers,
Yes to all by proxy.
Syatt Carly,
Yes to all.
Cyan Nick,
Yes to all.
Salmon,
Yes to all.
Shirky,
Yes to all.
Streetman, Strunk,
Yes to all.
Shushanik,
Yes to all.
West,
Yes to all.
Wingert,
Yes to all.
Wolf,
Yes to all.
Zatgo.
Yes to all.
Okay. Bills 93, 94, and 95 will pass on a vote of 41 to 0 to 0.
Okay, up next we have Bill 232496, amendments to the KSU-SGA Constitution to establish student principles. Will the author please come forward? This was referred out favorably 3 to 2 to 0.
All right, so this is one of the changes that that Brian talked about that we discovered while we were realigning the governing documents, but felt like it wasn't really in the purview of that committee. This legislation removes a lot of the text in our Constitution that enumerates student rights. We have students have the right to freely assemble on campus and a bunch of other stuff like that that doesn't actually serve any function because we don't guarantee those rights. The U.S. Constitution does. So our discussion about that revealed that the actual value of the Student Bill of Rights is that it is an expression of what is important to us. I thought that was a really smart suggestion. So I went about creating something that was maybe a better expression of what is important to us. I'm not taking the rights away or affecting those rights at all because, again, we don't provide them in this document. Just because they're written down does not make them part of our purview. If we wrote down that the sky was blue and I proposed that we strike that to avoid wasting text, you would not accuse me of trying to turn the sky gray. So same principle applies here. I think the 4 principles outlined in this legislation, if you could scroll down just a bit, Jeremy, are really the cornerstones of this body, and I'm excited to use them to better communicate what's important to us.
Seeing as that was debate in the positive, is there debate in the negative? Further debate in the positive? And is there any further debate at all? Okay, seeing none, we will move into a roll call vote.
Bellamy,
Yes.
Biggs, Blood,
Yes.
Broughton,
Yes.
Bruckner, Koch, Compton, Cub, Dennis,
Yes.
Drotz,
Yes.
Dunce,
Yes.
Fogel,
Yes.
Glasscock,
Yes.
Griffith,
No.
Haynes,
Yes.
Heatherman,
Yes.
Heseltine,
Yes.
Hoffmans, Holsey, Hundley,
Yes.
Jacobson,
Yes.
Kirshen,
Yes.
Kidd,
Yes.
Kermer,
Yes.
Kinsey, Lee,
Yes.
Lilly,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Lynn,
Yes.
Mason,
Yes.
Melcher,
Yeah.
Moore,
Yes.
O'Malley, Oury,
Yes.
Pelton, Peterson,
Yes.
Rios,
Yes, by proxy.
Rivard,
Yes, by proxy.
Rogers,
Yes, by proxy.
Cy Carly,
Yes.
Cy Nick,
Yes.
Solomon,
Yes.
Shirky,
Abstain.
Streetman, Strunk, Sushanik,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Wingert,
No.
Wolf,
Yes.
Zatgo.
Yes.
Okay. Bill 96 will pass on a vote of 38 to 2 to 1.
Unless someone forgot proxy. We're one vote short.
Oh, you called me out. Sorry, I forgot to vote for code. It comes too early. My name is in the middle. Yes, by proxy.
Great news. Bill 96 will pass on a vote of 39 to 2 to 1.
Okay. Bill 232497, amendments to the KSUSGA statutes regarding reference of legislation. Will the author please come forward? This was referred favorably out of committee 5 to 0 to 0. Have any changes been made?
Yes. The wording in section 1 was rewritten to read as follows. Student Senate may, with a majority vote to refer the legislation to a different standing committee or special committee. If this motion is successful, then the legislation will be referred to the new committee only. This may only be carried out once per piece of legislation in the same meeting of Student Senate. And then section 5 was added as a drop-down, which states standing or special committees may, by majority vote, refer legislation that has been referred to them by Student Senate to another existing standing or special committee.
Okay, you have first rights to debate.
Alrighty. So the reason I did this was because for something entirely unrelated, I was gathering materials in order to attempt the process of getting the petition to send a interpretation to Student Tribunal. And in it, I was sent the one earlier about what happened when a senator's bills was referred to multiple committees, in which it was said that there is no process, and we believe that Student Senate should take action on it. And so I decided to, seeing that no one had yet. Overall, in my entire time here in SGA, a bill has been referred to multiple committees one time. It was by accident, and it caused a significant amount of confusion, as I stated in the whereas clauses. And so I believe that having this ability for the Senate to send it to a different committee is a good idea. It sets up the process for what happens when the Senate overrides the place where legislation is referred, and the Speaker does not remove it by simply stating that it will only be sent to that committee. This gives the Senate more oversight over where the legislation it has goes. So I urge you please to vote yes, because as I stated in the whereas clause, we should heed the judgment of the student tribunal.
Seeing as this is debate in the positive, is there debate in the negative? Further debate in the positive? And is there any further debate at all? Seeing none, we'll go into a roll call vote on Bill 97.
Bellamy,
Yes.
Biggs, Blood,
Yes.
Broughton,
Yes.
Bruckner, Koch,
Yes, I promise.
Compton, Cup, Dennis,
Yes.
Rotz,
Yes.
Dunce,
Yes. Yes.
Fogel,
Yes.
Glasscock,
Yes.
Griffith,
Yes.
Haynes,
Yes.
Heatherman,
Yes.
Hesseltine,
Yes.
Hoffmans,
Yes, by proxy.
Hulsey, Hundley,
Yes.
Jacobson,
Yes.
Kirshen,
Yes.
Kidd,
Yes.
Kermer,
Yes.
Kinsey, Lee,
Yes.
Lilly,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Lynn,
Yes.
Mason,
Yes.
Melcher,
Yeah.
Moore,
Yes.
O'Malley, Oury,
Yes.
Pelton, Peterson,
Yes.
Rios,
Yes, by proxy.
Rivard, Rogers, Saya Carly,
Yes.
Saya Nick,
Yes.
Salmon,
Yes.
Shirky,
Yes.
Streetman, Strunk,
Yes.
Sushanik,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Wingert,
No.
Wolf,
Yes.
Zacko.
Yes.
Okay, Bill 97 will pass on a vote of 40 to 1 to 0.
Okay, up next we have Bill 232498, the fiscal year 2025 allocation of academic competition team funds. Will the author please come forward? This was referred favorably out of committee 7 to 0 to 0.
Okay, this is pretty straightforward stuff as well. The committee had $90,000 to allocate. They did it in just under 12 hours on a Sunday, and this is a reflection of the hard work that they have done. So I would recommend that you pass it.
Okay, seeing as that was debate in the positive, is there debate in the negative? Further debate in the positive? And is there any further debate at all? Seeing none, we'll go into a roll call vote on Bill 98.
Bellamy,
Yes.
Biggs, Blood,
Yes.
Broughton,
Yes.
Bruckner, Koch,
Yes, my promise.
Compton, Cup, Dennis,
Yes.
Drotz,
Yes.
Dunce,
Yes.
Fogel, Glasscock,
Yes.
Griffith,
Yes.
Haynes,
Yes.
Heatherman,
Yes.
Hesseltine,
Yes.
Hoffmans, Hulsey, Hundley,
Yes.
Jacobson,
Yes.
Kirshen,
Yes.
Kidd,
Yes.
Kermer,
Yes.
Kinsey, Lee,
Yes.
Lilly,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Lynn,
Yes.
Mason,
Yes.
Melcher,
Yeah.
Moore,
Yes.
O'Malley, Oury, Pelton, Peterson,
Yes.
Rios,
Yes, by proxy.
Rivard,
Yes, by proxy.
Rogers,
Yes, by proxy.
Cy Carly,
Yes.
Cyan Nick,
Yes.
Solomon,
Yes.
Shirky,
Yes.
Streetman, Strunk,
Yes.
Sushanik,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Wingert,
Yes.
Wolf, Zago. Okay. Bill 98 will pass on a vote of 41 to 0 to 0.
Okay, now we have exhausted final action. We will move into introduction of allocations. Senator Strunk?
I move to consider the allocations. Second.
Okay. For the allocations, we have Bill 99 is to AGR. They requested $500 and were recommended $500. Bill 100 is to Kappa Kappa Psi and Tau Beta Sigma. They requested $3,000 and were recommended $3,000. Bill 101 is to the Disc Golf Club. They requested $1,000 and are recommended $1,000. The Bill 102 is the Japanese Yosakoi Dance Club. They requested $700 and were recommended $700. Bill 103, the Society of Manufacturing Engineers, requested $650 and are recommended $650. Bill 104, the Williston Geology Club requested $300 and are recommended $225. And those are the allocations. Senator Strunk.
I move to special order bills number 100, 101, 102, 103, and 104, but not 99.
Second.
Dr. Patterson.
The reason is that AGR no longer needs the money, so we are just not allocating it to them.
Senator Griffith?
I move, in that case, I move to postpone Bill 99 indefinitely.
We don't have to do that. It just dies, yeah. Okay, so that is a debatable motion to special order. You have first rights to debate on special ordering.
Do I have to come up there? Yes. Okay.
Okay, guys, we should special order this so that way it passes tonight, and these groups get their money.
Seeing as that was debate in the positive, is there debate in the negative? Further debate in the positive? And is there any further debate at all? Okay, we'll move into a hand vote on whether or not to special order bills 100, 101, 102, 103, and 104. All those in favor, please raise your placards now. Proxies raised 2. All opposed, same sign. Those will be special ordered. Senator Glasscock?
I move to approve the allocations unanimously, or approve to, we gotta go through all of both.
We can just wait until we, get there. Senator Griffith?
I move to suspend the rules and approve bills 100, 101, 102, 103, 104 unanimously.
Second.
Joe Long?
I have a question of privilege.
Sure.
Bill 100 to Kappa Psi Tau Beta Sigma, Kappa Kappa Psi Tau Beta Sigma. Last year, when they requested this, it was denied because those guest lecturers were lecturing in a classroom. And they were used for class instruction, which we cannot fund. Is that definitely not happening this time?
That is not the case. They specifically enumerated in their application that it would be open to all students, and it would be in McCain, not a specific class or for a specific class.
Okay. Now we can move to approve the allocations if you'd like. Senator Glasscock?
I move to approve the allocations
The allocations will stand approved. Okay, up next we have introduction of legislation. We have resolution 232474. Is there a motion to consider? Chair Blood.
I move to consider resolution 74.
Second.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded. Will the author please come forward?
I've been practicing reading names. I'm gonna try and do my best, but I apologize in advance. Resolution 232474, approval of the 2024 Kansas State University Student Governing Association election results. Author Brian Blood, sponsors Senate Operations Committee, and Nick Saya. Whereas the Kansas State University Student Governing Association, KSUSGA, general election on February 20th to the 21st, 2024, were conducted in the manner prescribed in the KSU-SGA bylaws and statutes, including the Elections Regulation Code. Whereas Chapter 01, Section 0101112A2 of the KSU-SGA statutes requires the Elections Commissioner to submit the unofficial general election results to the Senate Operations Committee, and the Senate Operations Committee to author a resolution for submission to Student Senate, whereas the unofficial results become official upon their adoption by a majority vote of the Student Senate, and whereas Student Senate shall not amend the submitted election results. Be it resolved that Section 1, Student Senate adopts the results of the 2024 Kansas State University Student Governing Association, KSU-SGA general election, including the election of the following to their respective positions: Student Body President and Vice President, Paige Volgamore and Jack O'Malley. College of Agriculture Student Senators, of which there are 6 available positions: Patrick Biggs, Brayton Brugan, Blaze McCullough, Eric Moore, Kelvin Peterson, Margot Stewart. College of Architecture, Planning, and Design Student Senators, of which there are 3 positions: Anna Koch, Benji Carton, Brandon Kermer. College of Arts and Sciences Student Senators, of which there are 12 positions: Max Black, Evelyn Ediger, Chase Glasscock, Emily Haynes, Alexa Hesseltine, Jacob Hoffman, Andrew Lee, Emily Prey, Samantha Shushanik, Bentley Talbert, Kyle Vogel, Carson Cuesta. Tied, broken by ops, and accepted. College of Business Administration Student Senators, of which there are 9 positions: Sean Hoffmans, Brady Kappelman, Sam Keene, Alexandra Wolf, Emma Holmes, Katie Zacko, Gavin Strunk, Michael Dale Jacobson, Matt Holzmeister. College of Education Student Senators, which there are 3 positions: Ben Richenberg, Vajihe Shas Savari, Mandolin Otto. Carl R. Ice College of Engineering Student Senators, of which there are 11 positions: Tyler Carlgren, Sophia Glanville, Philip Shirky, Daniel Polanco Castro, Wyndham Geifer, Britton Hanna, Dalton Rizzo, Nicholas DeVilbis, Anish Shrivastava, Joseph Lilly. College of Health and Human Sciences Student Senators, which there are 7 positions available: Carly Saya, Ethan Rice, Grant Moffitt, which the latter 2 were write-ins that were tied and accepted. Graduate School Student Senators, of which there are 7 available positions: Mayowa George, Marcus Kidd, Elahe Rabi, Brian Blood, Muhammadul Islam, Parker Volgamore. College of Veterinary Medicine Student Senators, which there are 2 positions: Carissa Jonak. Section 2, vacancies in office shall be filled by the person receiving the next highest number of votes for the respective office in the manner specified by Article 4, Section 5A of the KSU SGA bylaws. Section 3, upon passage by the Student Senate, a copy of this resolution shall be sent to the Eldon Gideon Dean of the College of Agriculture and Director of K-State Research and Extension, Dr. Ernie Minton. Dean of the College of Architecture, Planning and Design, Michael McClure. Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences, Dr. Christopher Culbertson. Edgley Family Dean of the College of Business Administration, Dr. Kevin Gwinner. Interim Dean of the College of Education, Dr. Todd Goodson. Dean of the Carl R. Ice College of Engineering and the Leroy C. and Eileen H. Paisley Chair, Dr. Matthew J. O'Keefe. Interim Betty L. Toynton Dean of the College of Health and Human Sciences, Dr. Brad Benke. Vice Provost for Graduate Education and Dean of the Graduate School, Dr. Claudia Petrusko. Hodes Family Dean of the College of Veterinary Medicine, Dr. Bonnie Rush. Senior Vice President for Executive Affairs, University Engagement and Partnerships, and Chief of Staff, Dr. Marshall Stewart. Vice President for Student Success and Academic Affairs and Dean of Students, Dr. Thomas Lane. Interim University Provost and Executive Vice President, Dr. Debbie Mercer. Incoming University Provost and Executive Vice President, Dr. Jesse Perez Mendez. And University President, Dr. Richard H. Linton.
Questions or corrections for the author, Senator Griffith?
Can you go back up? In the section on the College of Engineering, in committee, wasn't there a tied write and accepted name there, or am I just making something up?
There was, they have since declined.
Senator Shirkey?
Yeah, so I just have a question, Chair Blood. What happens if we don't approve this?
Probably nothing.
Further questions or corrections? Caucus Leader Kidd.
And then just for me to clarify, this was in order of the amount of votes received, or was this in?
Is random. It is in order of, this is written down in order of how Sarah Hyman copied it into an Excel spreadsheet and sent to Commissioner Saya.
Further questions or corrections?
Some of them are in that order.
Okay, seeing none, thank you.
There is one more correction actually on line 10. Were changed to was.
Did you get that? Were changed to was on line 10. Chair Blood.
This is 73.
74.
I moved to Special Order Resolution 74.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to Special Order Resolution 74. You have first rights to debate.
We need to pass this today so that we can keep existing next term. So please vote yes to special order and then vote yes to confirm the election results.
Okay, seeing as that was debate in the positive, is there debate in the negative? Chair Broughton?
I have a question.
Okay.
Is this always how it is? Like we always have to special order it?
Sometimes.
No.
Okay.
Okay, is there debate in the negative? Further debate in the positive? And is there further debate at all? Okay, we will go into a roll call vote. Or it's a resolution. We are going to now vote on whether or not to special order. All those in favor of special ordering, please raise your placards now. Proxies raised 2. All opposed, same sign. It will be special ordered. Will the author please come forward?
I knew I should have stayed up here.
Yeah. Have any changes been made?
Yeah, we corrected line 10 to say was instead of were.
Perfect. You have first rights to debate.
Please vote yes so that our organization can continue to exist next term. The election was conducted in a fair and reasonable way, and all of these candidates have rightfully earned their positions that they'll be sworn into in 2 weeks. So let's allow them to do that.
Seeing as that was debate in the positive on the resolution, is there a debate in the negative? Further debate in the positive? And is there any further debate at all? Seeing none, we will go into a hand vote on Resolution 74. All those in favor of the resolution, please raise your placards now. Proxies raised 2. All opposed, same sign. It will stand approved. Okay, now that we've exhausted our legislative agenda, we will move into second open period. Senator Griffith?
So with that, the term has come to an end, or at least almost. And so if you want to, you graduating seniors, come drown your sorrow in board games and clear your conscience for having not come any of the previous weeks. I'm so sorry because we're not meeting next week. You've missed your shot. I will not stand for questions, although we will be back the week after spring break.
Senator Peterson.
All right, so you can see this is what we were trying to get money for. We don't need it anymore because it's not at the Stanley Stout Center. This symposium is going to be at the North Agronomy Farm. But if any of you guys are looking into a career in politics, there's going to be, especially in Kansas, being legislative, these are some big companies that are going to be there and speak, like Kansas Corn, Kansas Livestock Association. And these are some of the companies that sponsor elected officials around Kansas. So.
Awesome. Are there further second open period speakers? Chair Long.
I want to highlight something very important that happened that we didn't really talk about. Between weeks, the allocation to cats covered was moved from $75,000 to $95,000. And we really talk about why. It was because a senator came with a difference of opinion and wanted to seek a compromise and make a change. They presented $95,000, and when we got to the point of motions, I asked if they wanted to make a motion. They said, well, I don't think it'll pass, and I don't want to waste anybody's time, so I'm not going to. Thankfully, somebody else in the room said, no, I'll make the motion and carry it. And then, within the next 30 minutes, that motion eventually did pass. Not unanimously, but darn close to it. So, here's the lesson. If you're sitting there at some point thinking, I don't want to waste anybody's time by trying something and making a motion that I think is right and correct, don't. It could happen, maybe it should happen. Always say what you want to.
I'm not saying the question this time.
Senator Heseltine.
Hi guys. I haven't been in SGA that long, but since we are coming to the end of the term, I wanted to kind of quickly say a thank you to all our seniors because I know this is kind of the last time we're ever going to be really here as a group. I'm really confident that there's some really awesome people in this room going out into the world at the end of the semester. So I just wanted to come up here and say, as someone who's only known you guys for a very short amount of time, I am so happy to have many of you as my friends, and I'm so excited as someone who gets to come back to be coming back with the rest of you. So I just wanted to say thank you from me and everyone else in this room to all of you seniors, and good luck. And I don't know, you don't really have questions.
Senator Strunk.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Well, guys, I just figured I'd come up here and say a few things, to close out our night. Luckily, it is only 10 o'clock and not later. So, congratulations to everyone on such an eventful term. and an eventful night. We got a lot done this year. It was an honor to serve with everyone. Thank you for all that you do on behalf of the organization and for the university. And especially thanks to the seniors who are graduating. You will be sorely missed. Your contributions have not gone unnoticed. And to those of you coming back, I will see you in the next term. And with that, I've got nothing else to say.
Parliamentarian Cameron. I decided that because he's parliamentarian, he has speaking rights as acting parliamentarian.
And as such, I have become the first judicial member to hold speaking rights temporarily. So I figured I might as well exercise them before I lose them. Also, because this is probably my last time and last opportunity to speak during second open period for my time at K-State. Just to reiterate, thank you for everything, and thank you for putting up with me over there, especially with my scrolling, considering I cannot bend my index finger. So hopefully I didn't give anyone a headache by jumping between things, and productive Senate. Thank you. Peace.
Okay, are there further second open period speakers? Chair Sushanik.
For the people that will be returning in this room, I just wanted to come up here and encourage everybody at the next Senate that we all meet at to go introduce yourself to somebody new. I know there's going to be a lot of turnover, but those of us that are still going to be around, go make new friends. And I wanted to thank the seniors that are leaving for doing that for us in our class and being so welcoming. And Gavin said a lot of what I was going to say, but I just wanted to get a round of applause for everyone who's been here and everyone who's leaving and not coming back. Thank you for all you did.
Senator Heatherman.
I think that this is my third farewell speech to Senate, so let's hope the third time is a charm and you never see me back up here. For life reasons, not because I wouldn't be happy to still be back. But since the last time I gave this kind of speech in 2021, I've inherited 3 new titles. The first was a job title that's now changed a few times. Second, dog mom, and most recently, fiance. And I really appreciate you guys not kicking me out of Senate as these additional things started to pile on. But after 3 terms in this role, I've really enjoyed my time, but I never feel like I hit that like Marcus Kidd perfect balance of being involved, but not too involved, passive, but not too passive. But I've still greatly enjoyed the time serving SGA, both the past 3 years and the past 4 or 5 before then. And one of the largest reasons these past 3 years is because it's been really cool to see the interns of 2020 become all the branch heads, all like over half of the committee chairs, and so forth. So I'm really proud of all you guys, even though some of you guys have driven me nuts with things that you brought up. And I thought I'd just leave with 3 pieces of advice. The first is to elope. Everybody says it, but seriously. These are all pieces of advice I had to dig for that I hadn't included anywhere else. So that's number 1. Second is suspend the rules whenever you can. Like, you don't even have to get up and debate it. If it helps accommodate somebody else's desire to get something done and makes them feel more like their voice is valued rather than being shut down just for parliamentary procedure, I don't think that's a bad thing. And then the last one is we should amend our governing documents to be accurate and auditable, but like we don't have to amend over and over and over and over and over again. You stick around a while. And I can't even keep track of like names of committees anymore. Everything's changed once, twice, 3 times. So that's it. Thank you guys for allowing me to serve.
Chair Lynn?
If anybody wants to know where to find me, approximately 20 minutes from now, it will be at the bar at Applebee's for my last hurrah post-Senate. So if anybody wants to join at the bar at Applebee's, please come.
Are there further second open period speakers?
Refrain from going if you're underage.
It's Applebee's. Anyone's allowed.
You can be the bar.
You can sit at the bar.
I sat at the bar before. I'm 17 years old.
Anyway, are there further second open period speakers tonight? Senator Lee.
Sorry for dragging this on, but I just wanted to say thank you again for the senior class for being so welcoming this year. I know I've been serving for about 2 months now, so it's been great to get to know everyone, and everyone's been so welcoming. But like I tell this to everyone, but also like you're at a point in your life now that you're about to go into more of the real world, into your own careers and living your own lives. But it's super important that you recognize the hard work that you've done here, but also translate that into the real world, becoming engaged citizens, voting in your local elections, paying attention to what's going on in your communities, because a lot of the work that happens here also happens in the real world and many different chambers throughout the country. And it's so important that we recognize their work and that we really pay attention, because a lot of shady stuff happens and that we don't know about until it's too late. So stay engaged, stay active, vote, encourage your friends to vote, do what you can to make an impact, because your voice really matters. I just want everyone to remember that, but appreciate it. Thank you.
Further second open period speakers. Senator Saya.
Hey guys, I just want to give a special thanks to the seniors and specifically my older brother Nick Saya. He's the reason I joined Senate and the reason I will be continuing, and I just am really thankful for that, and I'm really thankful for all of the seniors here for being welcoming. So, thank you guys.
Are there further second open period speakers? Okay, seeing none, we will move on to Senate shoutouts.
Okay. Shout out to Madam Speaker Thomas. Thanks for all you have done this term and being a great person to work with. You're the best. Shout out to Resolution 69. Nice. Shout out to Chair Long, looking like a happy father while presenting with Philip. Hi, Chair Lynn. You look very pretty tonight. Shout out to Checks and Balances. Mr. Shirky goes to Washington too. Electric Boogaloo. Shout out to Nick for being an articulate speaker. You'll be missed. Shout out to the parliamentarian's mic, must always remain hilariously overtuned. Shout out to taking risks. Shout out to reaching amendment levels that shouldn't be possible. Shout out to RJ for having videos out there. Shout out to doing all the SGA things. Shout out to the Delta Chi fraternity for winning the intramural soccer and darts championship. Yeah. Shout out one again, Carly's outfit ate it up, nom nom nom. Shout out to Carly's outfit served yet again, it's yum yum yummy. Shout out to, skipping that one. Shout out to Yo Yo Yo. My name is Carson. I'm here to stay. Slide into my DMs every day. Shout out to Jacob and Andrew, stranded across the room and separated by the branches. They are star-crossed besties till the end of time. Shout out to the back of the room, emptying out so fast. Shout out to our seniors. You will indeed be missed. Shout out to telegrams. Beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop. Shout out to being a little teacup short and stout. Tip me over and pour me out. Shout out to the end of term. Everyone should be very proud. Shout out to Senator Mason for forgetting to vote for his proxy, making Chair Cuesta proud. Shout out to Carson. We appreciate you. You are the best. Shout out to Brian Blood. You are a silly little fella. Snake. Shout out to Alexa having blue lips. Shout out to Chair Broughton's intense and negative debate on the election results. Shout out to the seniors. Thank you for everything you have done and all the hard work that goes unnoticed. You set the example of what servant leadership looks like. Shout out to Election Commissioner Saya on running a very smooth election this year. Shout out to the seniors. Shout out from behind you, Interim Secretary Cuesta. Shout out to the seniors that have another year. Shout out to ending before midnight. Shout out to not being here at midnight. Shout out to the Student Tribunal. Shout out to it's always a joy to hear Jeremy speak in the Senate chamber. Shout out to the number of shout outs tonight. I'm guessing 41. That is incorrect. It is 48. Shout out to the 2020 interns. Shout out to we are all waiting on that choreographed dance, y'all. Shout out to for getting your own second open period speech. And that's it.
Okay, we will now move into our final second roll call.
That's me. Bellamy. Biggs. Blood.
Here.
Broughton.
I'm here.
Bruckner. Koch. Compton. Cuesta. Here. Cup. Dennis.
For the last time, here.
Drotz.
Here.
Dunce. Fogel.
I was here.
Glasscock.
Here.
Griffith.
Despite everything, still here.
Haynes.
Here.
Heatherman.
Here.
Hesseltine.
Here.
Hoffmans. Hulsey. Hundley. Jacobson.
Here.
Kirshen.
You know it.
Kidd.
Here.
Kermer.
Here.
Kinsey.
Over and out.
Lee.
Here.
Lily.
Here.
Long.
Here.
Lynn.
Here.
Mason.
Here.
Melcher.
Here.
Moore. O'Malley. Oury.
Peace.
Pelton. Peterson.
Here.
Rios. Rivard. Rogers. Cy Carly.
Here.
Cy Nick.
Here.
Salman.
Here.
Shirky.
Here.
Streetman. Strunk.
Here.
Sushanik.
Here.
West.
Here.
Wingert.
Here.
Wolf.
Here.
Zatko.
Here.
Chair Lynn.
I move to adjourn the 2023-2024 Student Senate term.
Second.
We stand adjourned.
Keep him in line, Marcus. I'll try. It's a rich man. That's a Liberty young man.
So sad.